at Baltimore's Memorial Stadium. Is this an important game? You bet it is. Baltimore at 5-4 needs to pick up ground on the New England Patriots in the Eastern Division, while in this Central Division, well, the Cleveland Browns are tied with the Houston Oilers for the #1 spot. And the Browns will be kicking off as Don Cockcroft will kick to the Baltimore Colts, who won the toss. I'm Merle Harmon with Carl Eller, and welcome to Baltimore's Memorial Stadium for this very important AFC game. Going back deep, Nesby Glasgow, number 25, for the kickoff from Cockcroft, and it will go to the far side to Kim Anderson. Anderson brings it back across the 20, out to about the 27, and he is dropped there. And downfield on the coverage, number 55, John Mooring, a return of 19 yards. Now, the offensive backfield for the Baltimore Colts, led by Burt Jones, of course, and Joe Washington, who can really put some moves on you. And the wide receivers, Roger Carr, having one of his very best years. The rookie Ray Butler has provided a surprise, and Reese McCall has been outstanding at tight end. The offensive line, well, they're a veteran line that can really do a job. So here we go. First down, Baltimore Colts at the 27-yard line. Cleveland Franklin, 38, and Joe Washington are the running backs, and Burt Jones, who is in his 8th year out of LSU, is ready to put the Colt machine in gear. Play action right over the middle, going to Joe Washington coming out of the backfield. He is near the 29, is knocked back to the 29. I believe they're going to mark that ball, however, on the 32. Dick Ambrose, 52, made the tackle. This is the defensive front 3, which may be switched to a front 4 before the day is over. I don't have to tell you about Lyle Alzado, the veteran at right end. The linebacker core is an excellent one. Bill Cowher is in there in place of Robert L. Jackson, who's on the ailing list. The defensive backs, they have been very good this year, but we'll get a supreme test today from Burt Jones. Second down call. 6 to go as Washington through the middle crosses the 35 and is brought down by Henry Bradley, the nose tackle, number 91, at about the 31-yard line. And so he dropped a couple on that one. It'll be third down now, 8 yards to go. Don McCauley, 23, comes in. Cleveland Franklin, 38, goes out. And the Cleveland Browns now will do a switch in their defensive alignment in this obvious passing situation. And Carl Eller, they say when Don McCauley comes into the ball game, he's the primary target.
Well, I'll tell you, he is. They like to get the ball to him, especially in these situations. Third down, long yards to go, and they'll try to get the ball to him.
Let's see what Jones can do here. Alzado has him back inside the 25 at around the 22. Lyle Alzado, the 10-year veteran from Yankton, throwing Burt Jones for a long loss on the play and bringing up a 4th down and 16 yards to go as they lost 8 on the play.
Lyle Alzado is the Cleveland Browns' leading tackler, and he's also with their best pass rusher. Here he makes a move, gets by, and he sacks Burt Jones there. What they did, they brought in 4 defensive linemen. That gives Lyle Alzado some help. So he got on a good move there, rushing to the outside and tackling Burt Jones.
Mike Bragg will kick it away, and going back deep is Keith Wright, number 89, wide receiver, excellent punt returner and kickoff return man. And Wright is going to run it back from his own 38. Good coverage for the special unit for the Baltimore Colts, and Wright gets nothing on the return as Ray Donaldson was downfield on the coverage. A kick of 41 yards and a loss of 2 after the reception by Keith Wright. Now the offensive backfield, Brian Sipe, you know about him, 17 touchdown passes this year, and the Pruitt boys can really turn it on. The wide receivers, well, Ozzie Newsome has been a key, the tight end, they're throwing more to him. Dave Logan, you know about. And that offensive line, Doug Deacon starting his 134th game. He may not be in there long, though, as he is ailing, but he is in there at left tackle. Here's Brian Sipe. Slot right. Rucker in motion. Out of the backfield comes Pruitt. That's Greg Pruitt. And Pruitt is taken out of bounds at the 49 by Derek Hatchett, number 42, the quarterback. A gain of 11 yards and a first down as Sipe, like Burt Jones, went to the air on that first play from scrimmage. The defensive line for the Baltimore Colts, led by Barnes, Mike Barnes. We talked about him at the outset, but that is a good defensive front 4. The linebacking core, led by Ed Simonini, the middle linebacker. Not the fastest guy in the world, but he gets there. The defensive backfield, Derek Hatchett. Watch him. He is a rookie, but he has tremendous speed. He has helped that defensive secondary. First down, 49-yard line for Cleveland. Rucker in motion. not get around the corner as number 56, Ed Simonini, the linebacker, the inside linebacker, a 5-year veteran from Texas A&M, knifed through there to make the tackle. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 10. And Carl Simonini, as we mentioned, is not the fastest guy in the world, but he really has a nose for where the ball carrier is.
Well, he knows where the ball is. He's not the biggest guy in the world either. Merle, they say he was too small to play middle linebacker, but you see, he's the best tackler on the Baltimore Colts defense, and he gets all over the field, just like you say.
2nd and 10 for Brian Sipe. De Leon over the ball. Inside handoff to Mike Pruitt. He is down to the 46-yard line of the Baltimore Colts, and once again, Ed Simonini, who has actually led in tackling the last 3 years, is there to make the stop again. It's a gain of 5, 3rd and 5.
Watch, now you see, they talk about his movement. He moves out, he starts to the right, his pursuit, he comes back because of the draw-type play, and he right there in the middle of the hole to stop Mike Pruitt for the tackle.
3rd down, 5 as Simonini comes to the sideline, and the nickel defense is on. Calvin Hill is now in for the Cleveland Browns. He has not carried the ball this year, number 35, but he is right up there in receiving. Let's look for it. Sipe going to Pruitt, coming out of the other side of the backfield. He's got a 1st down across the 40, near the 37. Ricky Jones, number 51, the hard-hitting linebacker from Tuskegee, a 4-year veteran, makes the tackle, and it's a 9-yard pickup for Greg Pruitt, and Sipe is right on target.
Sipe is right on target. You mentioned they brought Calvin Hill in the game, who hasn't run the ball, but he's a decoy here. Greg Pruitt comes out of the backfield also, and he's an excellent pass receiver.
So the Browns continue to move the football. Dave Logan, 85, splits wide to the left side. Into the slot left is Reggie Rucker. Brian Sipe is a 1st down. He'll set up at the eye. Inside handoff again to Mike Pruitt. After a fake to the deep man, Greg Pruitt, he's inside the 35 at about the 33. Ed Simonini, 56, the middle linebacker, making the tackle. And Sam Rutigliano, the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, who has guided his team on a string of 4 straight victories, hoping to nail this one down today because he's got a toughie coming up next week in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Charles White, 25, is into the lineup. Greg Pruitt, 34, out of the lineup for the Browns. Brian Sipe, 2,459 yards this year. To the sideline to Logan, and he's got another 1st down inside the Baltimore 25. He's at the 23, and Larry Brazil, 47, at the coverage on the play. A pickup of 7 yards for Sipe, who has been almost pinpoint perfect. You couldn't ask for a better delivery than he's been giving his receivers.
Well, you couldn't, and Logan has completed his 1st pass for the day, but that completes his consecutive string. He's gone ahead of Rucker now, who had the old string of 33 games, and I see Logan is continuing his streak.
Mike McCormick, former Brownie, head coach of the Baltimore Colts, hoping his defense can stop Brian Sipe and the Browns in this 1st drive they've had today. 1st down at the 23. Mike Pruitt, look at him go down to the 12-yard line. Ed Simonini, 56, Sanders Shiver, 54. The linebackers on the left side stop Mike Pruitt after a 9-yard pickup.
All right, when you talk about the Browns, they got a lot of weapons. The key story is Brian Sipe, but of course they got Mike Pruitt. Had a great week last week against the Bears, getting off a 51-yard run. But now you see he's got the speed. He's a strong guy too. He's got the size, but he's a very fast back. He can, once he breaks that hole, he can go all the way.
Pruitt rolling along as one of the leading rushers in the AFC. It's a slot to the left. Rucker in the slot. Logan wide. Mike Pruitt and Charles White are the running backs. Pruitt again. Look at that hole open for Pruitt. He's down to the 5. And Bruce Laird, the strong safety, number 40, had to stop him after a 7-yard pickup.
Okay, when you talk about the weapons that the Cleveland Browns have, I know that Colts are really trying to get to the pass, and this may be one of the keys. They're getting off the ball fast, opening up the hole. Of course, they got a great offensive line there, but Mike's a great running. That was a big hole there, and he's going to break something, I think, today.
Joe DeLamalure is now playing the left guard. Robert E. Jackson, the right guard. Shepard has moved to left tackle. He's 65, and Deacon is to the sideline. 2nd down, and about 2.5. Charles White. Touchdown, Cleveland. The former Heisman Trophy winner from USC puts Cleveland on ahead 6-0 as Brian Sipe runs a flawless miraculous drive to get Cleveland on the scoreboard. So the Browns go ahead by 6-0. And Don Cockcroft comes on for the extra point try. And the Browns aren't kidding around.
They're not messing around at all. I'll tell you, Charles White is not in the starting lineup today because Greg Pruitt is getting healthy. One reason he wasn't, they missed a practice against the week they played Pittsburgh and took him out of the lineup. But here's another weapon that the Cleveland Browns have. He has a great outside speed.
McDonald a hold, and it's right through the middle by Don Cockcroft. And the Browns go up by a score of 7-0 with 8 minutes and 52 seconds left to play in the first quarter here at Baltimore's Memorial Stadium.
America's not going to be pushed around anymore.
Dodge challenges Honda. Now Dodge beats Honda with more front-wheel drive cars with high mileage. Dodge Colt beats Honda Civic. Dodge Omni tops Honda Accord. Dodge 024 is unsurpassed by Honda Prelude. And Honda has nothing like new Dodge Aries K, America's highest mileage 6-passenger car, with Dodge front-wheel drive pulling for you. America's not going to be pushed around anymore at your Dodge Ram dealer, the American way to beat the pump.
Allstate challenges you. Find your homeowner's insurance policy, then bring it in and compare.
I personally accept Allstate's challenge.
Because all homeowners insurance is not alike. Allstate could show you ways to get more for your money.
Allstate's thrown us a challenge. Keep looking.
Allstate homeowners insurance could give you more value for the money. So find your policy and bring it in.
I found it.
You found it? You're in good hands with Allstate. That's a promise.
And this is how the Cleveland Browns took the lead. 9 plays, 62 yards, 5-yard run by Charles White. And Don Cockcroft, who added the extra point, is ready to kick it off again for the Cleveland Browns. And going back deep, Nesby Glasgow and Kim Anderson. Anderson is 26, Glasgow is 25. Glasgow is a reckless runner and defensive player, but he has been outstanding for the Baltimore Colts this year, and you can bet that he wants to get his hands on that football.
He sure does. You can tell he's got a lot on his mind right now. They're 7 points behind already this early in the game, and I'm sure he'd like to get off a nice return here.
So Cockcroft is ready. The Browns score on their first drive, lead 7-0, 8 minutes, 52 seconds to go in the first quarter. Short kick. Anderson on the sideline. Ooh, what a... He dropped the football. The ball was blown dead, however. It'll be blown dead at about the 28-yard line. A 15-yard return. John Mooring was down there on the tackle.
Okay, while they're getting ready for their lineup, Merle, let's take a look at that touchdown. We were talking about Charlie White there. He's got great speed. You see he uses his speed to cut back here, breaking the tackle, takes the ball into the end zone, and he's just got the speed to run away from people.
All right, we have apparently a flag dropped on the play, and the referee, Carl Lepore, will tell us about it.
Personal foul, clipping 51 on a return. It's a first down.
Clipping penalty against Ricky Jones. Carl Lepore, the referee today. Dave Hamilton, Tony Viteri, Gene Carabine, Banks Williams, Grover Clemmer, and Jack Vaughn are assisting him. Washington 20, Franklin 38 behind Burt Jones. Jones airborne, throwing it low, but Ray Butler grabs it off anyway. The rookie from USC, Ron Bolton, 28, had the coverage on the play. Gain of 13 yards and a first down for Burt Jones. First down. Ron Bolton had a broken arm last year. He's survived all kinds of injuries, and he's in action today, a 9-year veteran.
Merle, I'm sure Burt Jones is really excited about going up against Brian Sipe today. Not only they're a game behind in their division, but also Burt Jones thinks he's an excellent quarterback too, and I'm sure he likes his head-to-head competition of going against Brian Sipe. We'll see how he does today and who wins the battle of the quarterbacks.
Jones scrambling. He's got to go down.
Well, he didn't win that one, and Cleveland Browns got to him.
Marshall Marshall Harris, number 90, and Lyle Alzado, number 77. And there's Marshall Harris, second-year man from TCU. He is 6'6", 261. Watch him go.
What you'll see is Marshall Harris comes off his block using the turnaround technique. That's what defensive ends do when they get to the block. They see the quarterback trying to get to the outside. They got to contain that quarterback. This allows Lyle Alzado to come from the other side, being able to get to Burst Jones, and they both really combined to make that sack.
2 weeks ago against the St. Louis Cardinals, the Cardinals blitzed the Colts heavily and sacked Jones 12 times. Last week, that Baltimore offensive line stopped Kansas City in the sack department cold as Washington goes across the 15, but just barely. Clay Matthews, 57, the outside linebacker on the right side, weak side if you will, third-year man from USC making the tackle there. And the fans wanted Jones to put the ball up. After he lost so much yardage, it is still a third down. It is a third down, about 17 as Don McCauley comes in. Does that mean Jones will throw to him?
Well, he may, because he does a lot. But I'll tell you, on that last play, and we'll probably see it later on in the game, but Clay Matthews was able to make that by beating the back, and he stood right there, and Joe Washington had no room to go.
Third down. Browns are coming. What a rush coming from the outside. Elvis Franks comes on to make the sack, the rookie from Oregon State. And Jones goes down for the second time in this series and the third time in the game.
Well, this is what they talked about all week. Of course, 2 weeks ago, they had 12 sacks against Baltimore Colts, but they did that by blitzing the linebackers. The Browns only have the three-man line, but they're going to alternate that with blitzes and sending those linebackers, and we have 3 sacks. Cleveland is really hot today.
It is now fourth down and almost 24 yards to go as Bragg comes on to do the kicking. This is what he has averaged, almost 40 yards. He's done a great job. And the long snap by Chris Foot. Waiting, Keith Wright. Fair catch, taken just near the midfield stripe. We have 6 minutes and 17 seconds to go in the first quarter. The Cleveland Browns scored on the previous drive to jump ahead by a score of 7-0, and the Browns are ready to put that ball in play once again.
Steve, a little one-on-one. I have to do some yard work. Want to Michelob Light? I don't have to do any yard work.
Would good friends really go at it this hard just for a beer? Well, consider it's Michelob Light, and that means a rich, smooth taste you can compare to any beer you like.
102 to 98. How did you do it? Defense?
Michelob Light. Compare the taste.
We have had small four-cylinder cars in Europe for years. Now you Americans are going to have to take care of your cars the way we have had to. Spark plugs are critical. If one goes, you only have 3 left. Autolite has plugs designed for small cars. They've got a fused glass seal for full power. So if you've got a small car, why not use a plug designed for small engines? Autolite.
On NBC Sports World Invitational Track and Field from China, the intensity and incredible strength of women's powerlifting, and the legends of bowling, next Saturday.
Well, Carl, Sam Rutigliano, the Browns said, hey, we got to come with a rush today on Jones. They've done it so far.
Well, they have. They've put on a good show here. They've blitzed Jones, and also Lyle Alzado has made a couple good moves there. We see that their three-man line is really doing the job. But when you add another linebacker in there, that really makes it tough on Jones. And so far, they haven't picked up the blitz yet. But we'll see how they adjust here as we go on into the game.
All right, the 47-yard kick by Bragg and no return of the fair catch by Keith Wright gives the Browns the ball right on the midfield stripe. And Brian Sipe and his offensive unit are ready to go, and that's Rucker in motion. There's Rucker, and he is inside the 45 at the 44-yard line. And the coverage by Bruce Laird, the strong safety, a gain of 6. It'll be second down 4.
Something we may want to look out for today, Merle, is the fact that Brian Sipe now is broken out of Graham's record. He looks awfully crisp out here today. He looks real sharp. That pass was just really great. Sam Rutigliano, who's a great coach, is feeling very confident that Brian Sipe will be able to take them all the way.
The Browns are 6-3 and tied with the Houston Oilers Broncos in the Central Division as Mike Pruitt struggles for the first down. He is just about at the 40-yard line. If he is short, it will be by inches. Mike Barnes, 63, Bruce Laird, 40. The defensive left tackle and the strong safety make the stop after a gain of 6, and it would appear that the first down is there.
All right, you'll see they're getting there. Here's Orbis and Barnes. They're plugging up the middle. Barnes is having just a super year, as we say. He's a great pass rusher, but he's also a great tackle against the run.
Big play, big play. Well, Carla missed it, and so did the Browns by about 6 inches. So it'll be third down and about 6 inches to go for the Cleveland Browns, who lead by a score of 7-0 with 5 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the first quarter.
That's 6 tough inches, Merle.
Oden is now in at tight end. The Browns have a dual tight end offense on short yardage. First down for Mike Pruitt, the 225-pound fullback who goes blasting into that line, running right up the backs of Henry Shepard and Joe DeLamalure for the first down for the Cleveland Browns on the 39-yard line of the Baltimore Colts. That Cleveland line right now has Henry Shepard at left tackle since Deacon went out after one play. Joe DeLamalure, 64 at left guard. DeLaunay at center. And then Jackson and Rison on the right side.
Okay, Simonini, we talked about it being a small guy, but you see how he plugs that hole. He just comes right up there. They still get the first down, though, however.
Tom DeLeon over the ball. Rucker in motion to the right. Sight going long. Something went wrong there. We made a pass interference call, however. Dave Logan had run the pattern and then pulled up at about the 20-yard line. Sight's ball was delivered inside the 15, and then the flag went down.
Okay, Merle, I'll tell you what happened there. I'm not sure if it was Logan or who, but it looked like that Logan was just going down the field for a pattern. It was supposed to be probably an outside break. He gets there, and Hatchett, who's out there, gets in his way, and Logan throws his hands up. I'm not sure who the penalty was on, but I'm sure it was on Logan. He felt that it made a foul there, and he admitted it right away even before the play was over.
85, offense, first down.
So Dave Logan guilty of pass interference. It is now first down 20. And we have Kim Anderson coming into the defensive secondary for the Baltimore Colts, giving them a 5-man secondary as they expect Brian Sipe to go upstairs. 4 minutes, 37 seconds to go in the first quarter here in Baltimore. Rucker in the slot right. Inside handoff to Greg Pruitt. On a bit of a draw, flag goes down as he is dropped from the 44 by Fred Cook, number 72, and Sanders Shiver, number 54. Cook, the left end, and Shiver, the left outside linebacker. So let's see what the flag's about. Not too much yardage on the play.
It was an excellent call, though, Merle. I'll tell you, you got that longer yardage. Let's listen.
Face mask.
Okay, we got a face mask call here. And it's Cook who grabs his face mask. But as I was saying, it was a good play to call because the draw play is set up when you run on the passing down.
Personal foul, face mask, 54, defense, first down.
54, Sanders Shiver. Looked like it was Cook who had that hand wrapped around the mask. And I think it was. So, Sanders, you're going to get up the hook. We're going to take you off the hook on that one because it's very apparent that Cook was the man who was guilty of the foul.
Right.
It is now first and 10. And, of course, a big, big penalty because the automatic first down goes with it. Sipe wants it all on this one for Logan, and he is there. Dave Logan, covered by Derek Hatchett, number 42, but not well enough. A 39-yard touchdown pass from Brian Sipe to Dave Logan. Sipe's 18th touchdown pass of the year. And Dave Logan, the do-everything wide receiver, gets his third TD.
Okay, I'll tell you, when I saw these guys come back on the field here, you just look at 3 class receivers. And Logan now has gone ahead of them, surpassing Reggie Rucker in the games consecutively completed. And he's just a class receiver. I think the defensive back played a little short and was watching the ball and didn't keep up with his man. And Logan got behind him.
Now Don Cockcroft for the extra point try with Paul McDonald, the rookie quarterback from USC Holding. And Cockcroft makes it 14-0 with 4 minutes and 26 seconds left to go in the first quarter. We were looking for an aerial circus here this afternoon So far, the air lanes have belonged to Brian Sipe and the Cleveland Browns.
When I was a kid working this old gas pump, I never thought I'd be back here telling you that Pennzoil saves gasoline. But now, that same Pennzoil that protects your engine saves you gas. Pennzoil has added gas savings to their regular multi-weight oils, and they've done it at their regular price. That way, more people can afford to save gas.
Gas-saving Pennzoil. Quality in every extra mile.
Just in time for Christmas. Save $10 each on 2 favorite Radio Shack electronic games. 2-player football or 2-player baseball. Both cut to $29.95 each. Computerized action games with separate controls for each player. Lighted scoreboard with built-in sound. Challenge a friend or play against the computer. Pitch a no-hitter. Score a touchdown. Be a winner and pocket the savings. Sale price 2-player electronic games. Only at Radio Shack, your Christmas electronic store.
On the 1-hour season premiere of Different Strokes, Arnold needs cash for his date with Tootie. This is a holdup?
What'd you talk about, mister?
It's Dog Day Arnold Wednesday.
The Browns are ahead of the Baltimore Colts by a score of 14-0 as Brian Sipe is red hot this afternoon. And you're seeing it all now. Don Cockcroft to kick off to Kim Anderson and Denesby Glasgow. And you're seeing the Cleveland Browns are ready to charge downfield in the special teams unit to cover Cockcroft's kickoff. High and short. And it is taken on the 19-yard line by number 66, Curtis Foote, who doesn't get a chance to carry the ball very often. And he brings the ball back to the 28-yard line. Willis Adams made the tackle on the play. Carl, were you ever on a receiving team? I mean, any time in your career?
Well, no, I wasn't, but I'm not so sure he should have handled that ball. They had the defensive, the deep man coming up to catch the ball and could have caught it with full steam. It may have been a better return. When you don't handle the ball that much, you shouldn't really handle it unless you're absolutely sure there's no one else around to handle it.
All right, Burt Jones and the Colts, 1st and 10 on the 28. And it's Curtis Dickey, number 27, who is now in the backfield. The speedster from Texas A&M, brought down by Clay Matthews, number 57. Curtis Dickey really put some firepower into the running game of the Colts last week in Kansas City. Pittsburgh leading Tampa Bay. At it. How about this one? New York Giants, 1-8. They've really had trouble, but not today. Look at that lead over the Dallas Cowboys in the second quarter. Phil Simms having a big day. And Chicago having a big day against Washington. 28-0 in that one. Burt Jones, Curtis Dickey. Uh-oh, somebody got hooked up there on the line. Do I see a flag? I do not. As Dickey got to the outside, Dick Ambrose, 52, brought him down after a gain of 5 yards. The ball now at the 35-yard line. It is 3rd down 3 coming up. Dick Ambrose out of Virginia. Continuing the scores, the St. Louis Cardinals, who are playing good football this year, are leading Atlanta 7-0. That's an early one. Tim Mazzetti, a field goal of 43 yards for Atlanta, and San Francisco leading Green Bay 6-0 in the first quarter. Steve DeBerg hitting Freddie Sullivan on a 22-yard touchdown pass. Joe Washington and Don McCauley are now in the backfield for Baltimore, 3rd down 3. First down to Washington on the 42, but what a hit he took from Ambrose. Number 52 right in there again, a gain of 8 and a first down. But you talk about getting stuck. Ambrose really put the leather into Joe Washington.
I'll tell you, Cleveland's got an excellent crew of linebackers, but Ambrose is certainly one of the finest. You'll see he gets back deep enough into coverage, but he comes up in there. He sticks Joe Washington. And I'll tell you, when you get hit, you see him shake his head. That hurts. He doesn't want any more of that.
Now the Colts at the 43. Franklin 38, Dickey 27 of the setbacks for Burt Jones. Jones goes to Ray Butler, the wide receiver, for short yardage. Ron Bolton, 28, had the coverage for the Cleveland Browns, and now Burt Jones is starting to warm it up. A gain of 6 yards, 7 yards make it. 2nd down 3. Jones is now 4 for 4 for 31 yards. On the other side of the coin, Sipe is perfect, 5 for 5, 75 yards. Mike McCormick hoping this will be the drive that will get his Baltimore Colts underway and on the scoreboard, and Sam Rutigliano hoping that defense can do what it's done so far in the first quarter. 2nd and 3. A diving catch, and the ball is dropped on the 45-yard line. Franklin coming out of the backfield, popped by Ron Bolton, 28. Cleveland couldn't hold on to the football, the third-year man from Baylor. He sat out last year. He was cut by the Philadelphia Eagles, signed on with the Colts. He's done a good job. 6'1", 212 pounds. Now he comes to the sideline. 3rd down 3 for the Colts, who trailed 14-0 with a minute 35 seconds to go in the first quarter. Butler is splitting wide to the left and Roger Carr to the right. McCauley, 23, Washington, 20 on the setbacks. Flag down. Jones going for the first down of the run, and he slides into second base or into center field in this ballpark at the 33-yard line. But we have a personal foul face mask called against the Baltimore Colts, which is going to kill that big gain in the first down by Burt Jones.
There are a couple things there. One, that the defensive line did a stunt, and that's what they call like twist, where the end replaces the tackle or the tackle replaces the end. And that made that open in the middle. But you also get great penetration, putting the rusher on the Burt Jones. And I think that's why he brought the ball down and was able to run. That's missing.
Personal foul, face mask, 69. Offense, 3rd down.
Wade Griffin, the left tackle, was guilty of the call, and it is 3rd down 8, which puts Burt Jones in a passing situation again. Wade Griffin having a big year, his 4th year out of Mississippi.
Okay, now I'm sure the Browns are going to probably cover something else again this time. They stunted the lineman that time. They'll probably blitz the linebacker this time. Let's see if they do it and what Burt Jones does.
All right, let's see what they do. 3rd down 8. Alzado trying to get to the passer. Jones gets it away, and it's almost intercepted by number 28, Ron Bolton. Ray Butler, number 80, the intended receiver, and Butler, the rookie from USC, went up there and almost picked it off, and it's a 4th down coming up for the Baltimore Colts, and the punting unit will come on.
Well, you'll see, they did blitz, they did send somebody in, but they got great pickup here. Mendenhall picking up his guy, but Butler makes a great recovery here, covered his man, coming in front to get the ball and knocks it away.
Mike Bragg back to punt for the Baltimore Colts. Keith Wright is deep for the Cleveland Browns. Bragg 41 yards and 2 punts. Keith Wright, a very exciting player. He's beaten the injury jinx a year ago. Wright will run it back from the 17. Look at the Colts coverage, and a flag is dropped. Wade Griffin, 69, to make up for the mistake he made a moment ago, was down in the coverage to make the tackle.
Okay, the flag is, Merle, I know what they had a great wall set up there for Cleveland Browns, but it looks like he got him with his leg. He kind of came in there and shot the tackle, and there may have been a hole in here, but look. Go ahead.
Cal Lepore heads the officiating crew of today. He's been kind of busy in the first half. We've got a minute 10 to go in the first quarter and a timeout coming up with the Browns leading by a score of 14-0. We'll be right back after this.
The first electronic football games like these were for only one player.
End run.
But something was missing.
Can I play? Wait your turn.
Then along came head-to-head electronic football by Coleco.
Now we can play at the same time. I'm offense. I'm defense.
With head-to-head, you're really in the game. A power sweep. He fights through for the tackle. You pass. He blitzes. Intercepts.
This is real competition.
Why settle for a one-player game when you can have it all? Play alone, against the computer, or for real competition, play
head-to-head.
Why settle for less?
America's not going to be pushed around anymore.
Dodge announces an historic breakthrough. The new Omni Miser with the highest highway mileage any American car has ever achieved. Now there's a real challenge to the imports. Omni Miser with its advanced electronic fuel control. Miser squeezes out more mileage than Toyota Corona, more than Honda Accord, more than VW Rabbit, more than the world car four-door Ford Escort, and at a lower price, only $52.99. Omni Miser is your Dodge Ram dealer, the American way to beat the pump.
Harmon and Carl Eller with you from Baltimore's Memorial Stadium, where the Cleveland Browns lead the Colts by 14-0. Brian Sipe leading the Browns on his first 2 drives for touchdowns. But right now, Carl, this Baltimore defense can really put a dent in Sipe and this Cleveland offense.
Well, this is where you want to make the play. You want to hold them down there. You got to get the good field position. You get the ball back to your team, especially being back 14 points at this point. Defensive line has really played well here.
Mike Pruitt breaking a tackle. look at Pruitt go out to the 17, almost a first down. Nesby Glasgow, 25, the safety man, the free safety, had to make the tackle after Mike Pruitt picked up 9 yards, and that's a no-no.
Well, that's a no-no, but what the defensive line is really going in there, and they had a missed tackle, though. They should have had him, and Mike Pruitt just broke the tackle and goes for a long gain.
And the Steelers continue to lead Tampa Bay at the half. Dallas coming back after trailing by 2 touchdowns, now down by 1 in the second quarter against the Giants. Second down, 1. Pretty good hit. Charles White carrying the ball, and Ed Simonini, 54, met him in the hole to make the hit, but I believe he has the first down anyway. Look at the Bears. They're rolling over Washington this afternoon at the half against Jack Pardee at the big Lakefront Stadium in Chicago. Jack coming home and being treated rather rudely. Next Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, it's NBC Sports World. You'll see some of America's best in the first World Invitational Track and Field Championships from China. Then see the intensity of women's powerlifting and the best in bowling going pen for pen and the legends of bowling next week, 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Sports World. It is a first down for the Cleveland Browns, so Brian Sipe, again, leading the Browns here in his 3rd possession in this first quarter with 12 seconds remaining, and I believe he's going to let the clock run down and take the 14-point lead, rather, at the end of the first period. That's exactly what he's going to do. So the Browns, who are 6-3 and tied with the Houston Oilers for the lead in the AFC Central Division, led by Sam Rutigliano, have a 14-0 lead over the Baltimore Colts, who have been able to do very little against Cleveland's defense. We'll be right back.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special. The beer.
Building inspector.
Hey, what are you guys doing here?
I didn't believe you two could build your own house.
Yeah, well, don't look. It's not finished.
Well, I guess we'll just take our loan, Brown, go home.
Well, maybe one quick look around.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Low and Brown.
Then what are you going to do when you finish this place? Just what I'm doing right now.
Used to be when I had a job to do around the house, it was one-on-one. Me against the house. And since the house was much bigger, I usually lost. Well, I've just changed all that with my new Black & Decker Workmate. It'll hold just about anything I want to work on, from a door to a pipe to a 200-pound dresser. In fact, my Workmate is so good at helping me work, I'm giving it Sunday off.
Workmate's available from about $45.
Picking and choosing the right investments requires very careful handling. One wrong move can easily damage the best laid plans. At Merrill Lynch, we know that size and strength can be very valuable. But it is our sensitivity to your investment goals and agility in helping you reach them that makes us what we are. Merrill Lynch, a breed apart.
Mike McCormick, head coach of the Colts on the left, seemingly thinking, hey, 36 yards will never do it against this club. And Sam Rutigliano saying 127 for the first quarter, not bad, Carl.
Those are good stats, Merle. And I'll tell you, that Brian Sykes is really hot today, but he's got some great guys supporting him.
First down to the 18 for Cleveland. Rucker comes in motion. Laird to cover him. The run goes the other way to Charles White. He breaks it to the outside, and Nesby Glasgow yanks him down near the 30-yard line. It'll be a first down, a gain of 12, and a first down for the Cleveland Browns.
Let's see, Charles White, we mentioned his speed. He has the speed to get outside. He's a very fast runner, being a sprinter, running about a 6'1", 60. And I'll tell you, when you got that kind of speed, if you can get that guy loose in the broken field, he's trouble.
At USC in his career, he gained 6,245 yards, and this, again, is a statistic that tells the story of why Cleveland has a 14-0 lead in the second quarter. Here's the other one, this man right here, Brian Sipe. Mike Pruitt hits Simonini, gets him at the 33. Simonini, number 56, who's been very busy this afternoon as that Cleveland offensive line, even though injury-riddled, is really doing a job.
Oh, you'll see Simonini now. Henry Shepard and Tom DeLeon, the center there, they've got the job of trying to keep this guy off of the running back. But Simonelli, with his small size, he's got great agility and great strength.
A gain of 3. Second down, 7. Logan to the left. Rucker to the right. Logan at the 40. And he is spun down by Larry Brazil, number 45, the right quarterback. A gain of 8 yards for Dave Logan. Logan is 6'4", 216 pounds, out of the University of Colorado. Has caught 30 passes going into this game for 464 yards, which leads the Browns, 15.5 average, if you care to carry all those figures out. And he has caught 1 touchdown pass going into today's game, and now he's caught another one. Sipe, 6 out of 6, 82 yards.
They haven't used their tight end, Ozzie Newsom, who's been a big figure for the Browns this year. And I'd be surprised to see him break loose and do something here.
And Sipe again going to the air to Reggie Rucker, and the flag is dropped as Rucker makes the reception at about the 48-yard line of Baltimore. Derek Hatchett, 42, had the coverage, and let's see what the flag's about. Derek Hatchett, a rookie, and you might expect that Brian Sipe would be going after him. Sipe has just been absolutely perfect today. You couldn't ask a quarterback to do any more than he has done. Pass interference is the call.
Pass interference, 42, defense.
Derek Hatchett, guilty of pass interference.
Well, you talk about Brian Sipe, Merle. The Cleveland Browns, if you notice, they haven't punted today. When they talk about Sipes, they talk about going to the Super Bowl. In fact, in Cleveland, they're calling it the Siper Bowl.
The Siper Bowl, huh? Keith Wright is out of the ball game with a knee injury, and the report is he will not be back today. First down to the Browns on the 45 of the Colts. De Leon over the ball. Rucker in motion. The ball is stripped by number 63, Mike Barnes, as Pruitt took the handoff, and Barnes came up with a big defensive play, stripping the ball, and the Colts have recovered.
Well, we talked about Mike Barnes. You take this momentum from a defensive lineman, and he's got it. Coming up with a big play there, and we'll see what the Colts do. It'll certainly help him.
And Simonelli recovered the fumble. So Simonelli has been very busy. And so we have 12:44 to go in the first half as the Colts take over with a timeout. They trail 14-0.
Ram Tough Dodge is brand new for 1981. Built tougher than ever. With better mileage. 7 cross members and carbon steel frames. The biggest standard payloads. More than Ford or Chevy. New EPA estimates, too. Best gasoline mileage with automatic transmission. More than Ford or Chevy. Dodge pickup. Newer. Tougher.
Dodge trucks are Ram Tough.
We want to make you smile.
Look out.
I'd play to his backhand.
We're gonna make you smile.
Holiday Inn offers you the widest choice of the most popular resort locations.
I saw that.
Come to Holiday Inn where your smile says we're #1 in people pleasing.
Wednesday. On the season premiere, Quincy investigates 2 bizarre rapes, the only evidence teeth marks.
We're not sure of that.
Proving innocence or guilt.
Carl, the Baltimore defense decided it had better come up with a big play, and did.
Well, that's better. You see Mike Barnes are taking an inside cut on Jackson here, who is replacing Shepard there at the right guard spot. But Barnes has been having a great year, and he's using his speed. He's a big guy, too, Merle. He's got the ability to break a tackle or to beat an offensive guard and get in there and make a play like that.
Now, can the Colt offense take advantage of what the defense has done for them? Franklin and Dickey are the running backs for Burt Jones. Baltimore down by 14. Little play action. Jones dumps it over to the middle to Curtis Franklin, his big fullback, and he is across the 40 for a first down. He picks up about 14 and winds up near the 36-yard line. So Cleveland Franklin becomes a ball carrier. A pass catcher is brought down by Charlie Hall, number 59, after an 18-yard pickup.
Burt Jones goes to his backs here because with a 3-man line, he gets an extra linebacker out there, but he's helping in the backfield. Trying to help on the wide receivers, Butler and those guys. And he goes off to his running back here, and that's coming with a nice gain. He gets the ball and is able to take it for a couple extra yards.
Roger Carr has not been heard from today. He is split wide to the left. Jones goes to the run. And Curtis Dickey explodes up the middle behind Robert Fred and Ken Mendenhall and breaks it down to about the 23. Clarence Scott, number 22, the strong safety, stops him after a 19-yard gain.
Well, you say Curtis Dickens got that speed. He had a great game last week with a 51-yard run, which is his longest run. I think he's got a lot of confidence in himself now, and I think he's going to have a great year the rest of the year. But you see now he does have that ability to break through the line, and he's got tremendous speed. And I wouldn't be surprised if he comes with another long run today.
The Browns scored on the first two possessions of the opening quarter. Charles White from 5 yards out. Dave Logan a 39-yard pass from sight. Now, finally, the Colts are on the move. Play action. Jones drills his big tight end, Reese McCall, for a touchdown. A 24-yard touchdown pass to Reese McCall, his third touchdown of the year. And for Burt Jones, number 15.
Reese McCall is this the second week he's gotten a touchdown. Burt Jones throws a great ball going right in there, right in the middle of the coverage. Reese McCall is there. He takes in another 6 yards, and they come up with 6 points. And now they're only trailing by 1 touchdown. And they took advantage of the good field position and a big play by Mike Barnes.
So Burt Jones indeed taking advantage of that recovered fumble, and Landry will hold it. And Steve Mickemeyer puts it right to the left. It is not good. So Mickemeyer misses. Could be a big one. 11-14 to go in the first half. And now it is Cleveland 14 and Baltimore 6. And it's time for the Baltimore defense to go to work again.
To the guys who take all the heat for us, this Bud's for you.
This Bud's for you. There's no one else who does it quite the way you do. So here's to you. This Bud's for you. This Bud's for you. All you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
Hey, this Bud's for you.
Saturday on a special Games People Play, it's the Grand Prix of tricycle racing, and a man attempts to break the world record speedboat jump. Saturday on NBC.
Steve Mickemeyer, top left, to kick off to Dino Hall on the goal line. Keith Wright out with a knee injury, not expected back this afternoon. It is 14-6 Cleveland, and Mickemeyer really booms it to Dino Hall. He will down it. This little guy's an exciting football player. Love to see him bring that ball out, but not this time. He was about 4 yards deep. The scoring drive for Baltimore took a minute and 30 seconds to go 53 yards after the fumble recovery, and it took Burt Jones but 3 plays, and then he drilled big tight end Reese McCall with a 24-yard touchdown pass. Cleveland 14-6 in the second quarter. Brian Sipe brings the offense on. Sipe off to a great start this afternoon. 7 out of 7, 96 yards. How much better can you do? Charles White off his own right tackle, running behind Robert E. Jackson and Cody Risen. But he is brought down by Mike Barnes and Ed Simonini after he gets about 3 yards, 2nd down 7. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or the use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Baltimore Colts and the National Football League is prohibited. Sipe sends Logan to the left, Rucker in the slot to the left. 2nd and 7, Rucker in motion. Play action, good rush. Logan, the tight end, reads it. He's at the 35, and Seif is right on target for a first down. Larry Brazil, 47, made the tackle, but Logan picks up 17 yards and a first down.
That was a great play. Logan comes and makes an inside move. Seif gets a little pressure over. He's able to get the ball off, throwing over the defensive lineman, and getting the ball right in there on the target.
Seif, 8 out of 8, 108 yards.
Baltimore needs another big play here if they're going to get back in the game, make it even here before they go in at halftime. We'll see if Mike Barnes is having a great year. The one big play, and he's playing well today.
Rucker in motion. Seif with a lot of time, going for Dave Logan. Double coverage on Logan this time, however, and he is overthrown. Larry Brazil, 47, and Esby Glasgow, 25, had double coverage on Logan. And when you go double coverage on a guy like Logan, somebody's going to be loose somewhere else, Carl.
Well, somebody's going to be loose there, Merle, I'll tell you. That was great play action by Seif. He faked me out, and I'm sure I was talking about Barnes earlier. Barnes goes and chases the running back, gives Brian Seif the time to go. But what they did, they didn't have the deep right receivers as many as they normally have, so that's why they're able to go and double coverage.
Brian Seif, second down, 10 for the Browns, who lead by a score of 14-6. The draw, fake draw, another good play-action fake, and it's Reggie Rucker on the receiving end of the midfield stripe, covered by Derek Hatchett. A gain of 16 yards and another first down, and Seif has not missed yet. And the loneliest guy for Cleveland this afternoon has to be none other than the punter.
Okay, what you see here is they're doing a stunt. Orris comes around, but he takes him a long time to get around. I think if he'd come a little bit closer, he may have gotten Brian Seif before he got that ball off.
Johnny Evans, who handles the kicking for Cleveland, has not been on the field yet. Last week he had a good week against the Chicago Bears after being kind of in and out. There it is. There's the story. The inside handoff going to Mike Pruitt. Pruitt is down to the 42-yard line. Larry Brazil, 47, having to make the tackle. Coming up from the secondary. A gain of almost 8. You know, Carl, it appears that secondary is having to make too many tackles here.
Well, what happens, the value of a Brian Seif is not only his arm, but his play calling. He's able to mix it up a lot in there, Merle. And when you got receivers out there like Logan and Rucker and Newsom, those guys, we'll listen here and I'll come back.
The play did not stand. Cody Risen was guilty of a false start, number 63. So the penalty is walked off to the 46 in Cleveland territory. First down, 15.
But as I was saying, Merle, the play calling, this opens it up, mixes the play up a lot. He's got a good running game, too, and his arm certainly helps the running game.
14-6, the Browns lead. 8:48 in the first half. Back over the middle to Mike Pruitt at midfield. Short yardage on that, about 4. Sanders Shiver, 54, the outside linebacker on the left side, making a stop for the Cleveland Browns. Ricky Feature, 83, coming out. Dave Logan coming in for Cleveland. It is second down, 11 for the Browns, who lead by 14-6 in the second quarter, 8:17 to halftime.
Second and 11 at the
Brian Seif has not, well, he's missed one, 10 out of 11. What a day, what a first half. They show the blitz. White on the handoff, on the sweep, gets a block. He's across the 45, down to the 43 in Baltimore territory, where Bruce Laird, the strong safety, number 40, has to come up to make the tackle after a 6-yard gain. The Cleveland offensive line is really doing a job up front, Carl.
Oh, they're doing an excellent job up front. You talk about the value of their whole team. You got to talk about all the players. They're in obvious passing situations, second and about 12, but he goes to a wide play, a run by Charles White. And Charles White's got the speed to run the ball on that down a distance.
Third down, 4. The ball in the 43 of the Baltimore Colts. 4-man front for Baltimore. Complete to Rucker. Rucker trying to get the first down, and he has it. At the 38, Bruce Laird, number 40, spun him around. But Rucker kept his feet and was able to twist and turn just enough for the first down at the 38-yard line. Rucker, the bionic man out of Boston University. Bruce Laird, number 40, who's the ringleader of that defensive secondary for the Baltimore Colts, and what a workout they're getting this afternoon. It's 14-6 Cleveland. 6 minutes, 44 seconds to go in the first half. Sipe has missed one today. Rucker split to the right. That's what he has done. 41 yards, 4 receptions. Logan to the left. Looking for Rucker. He's out of bounds. Knocked out of bounds by Derek Hatchett. He's going to be, well, let's see. According to where they line the ball up, he may have the first down. An 11-yard pickup, or approximately 11 yards. Now the officials with Cal Lepore checking it out. Sam Rutigliano says, hey, you don't have to check it out. We've got it. First downs, it's a runaway with the Cleveland Browns. They have dominated the first half.
They're dominating the game here, and they're moving the ball all over the field with Sipes throwing the ball both deep, long, and both sides. And when you got that, that puts a lot of pressure on the defense.
So far today, the Browns have not been the cardiac kids as they have been in so many games this year. The Brownie fans know what they have done. First down with the length of the football. They have really been in some hair-raising ball games, not only this year, but last year, particularly last year.
Well, I think this happens when the team becomes confident. They know they want to go out and establish themselves and take the game out. They know what they can do. They're not sitting around waiting. They're going out to establish themselves and take the ball game right from the start.
It is a 1st and 10 on the 27 of the Baltimore Colts. Sam Rutigliano, very calm on the sideline. Sam has kept a pretty low profile, really, but his football players haven't. They've been geared high for every ball game. Slot left, first down. Charles White out of the backfield, and Bruce Laird knocks him down to the 25 after about a 3-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd down 7. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is WKYC TV3 Television, home of the Browns.
Merle, Harmon, and Carl Eller with you. And you're looking at Johnny Evans, the punter for the Cleveland Browns, who may as well warm up the arm because he hasn't been able to warm up the leg today. He hasn't had to punt at all.
They've got a great game plan going here today. They just move the ball, they're moving it well, and they're certainly dominating the game here so far.
2nd down, 25. The Browns in the first half have dominated the game. Here is Mike Pruitt on the way at the 10. Mike Pruitt out of bounds at the 6-yard line. Sanders Shiver, number 54, had to chase him out of bounds with help from Larry Brazil after a 19-yard pickup. Larry Brazil, 47, kept him from going all the way in, and Mike Pruitt is having a day, isn't he?
You see what happens here. The value of a pass number, I can't say too much about this. They got a great rush coming on from the defensive line. They get upfield. Sipes hands the ball off to Mike Pruitt, who's a fantastic runner. He's got the speed, he's got the sides. He gets an open field, and there's a big hole there, and he just takes the ball down for about a 19-yard gain, and they're in scoring position again.
First down and goal. The Browns lead 14-6. 5:37 to go in the first half. White trying to get to the outside. He's going to make it. Cleo Miller was out front leading the blocking, the fullback. And Charles White takes it in for his 2nd touchdown of the day. Both of them for 5 yards. And the Browns go ahead by 20-6.
Well, you got Mike Pruitt going up the middle. You got Charles White going around the end. You got Brian Sipes dropping back, throwing the ball to great receivers. But the value of a guy like this, he's got the speed coming in close like that from 5 yards out. He gets around the end, and he just carries that ball in there. There's no one that can get to him with the tremendous speed he has.
So now, Don Cockcroft will try to put the 21st point on the board. Donald holds it. Cockcroft is right to the middle. And so the Browns go up by 21-6 here in the first half in Baltimore. The Colt offense sputtered early. Can Burt Jones bring them back in the final minutes of the first half? We'll see.
When every minute can cost you an acre, you need a chainsaw you can depend on. So you grab your Home Light going in, and before long, you're walking out a winner. And Home Light can make you a winner right now. Buy any one of these 5 selected chainsaws and get a rugged carry case free. Get the home light that's just right for you. And a carry case to go with it. Free. From Home Light, the Chainsaw King.
Baby me, baby. Baby me, baby.
Mister, to baby your skin's gotta be smooth. Rise Baby Face Shave Cream, the only lather with our exclusive baby oil formula. Rise Baby Face babies your face, so it doesn't just shave you close. It leaves your skin feeling smooth up close.
Baby me, baby.
Rise Baby Face with baby oil shaves so close your face feels smooth up close.
Baby me, baby.
There's the man of the hour for the Cleveland Browns. He has been almost perfect this afternoon, completing all of his passes but one. Burt Jones, his counterpart, on the other side of the field, hoping, hey, we got to get it going here.
Well, he's got to get something going here. Being as far behind as he is now, he hasn't gone to the halftime. He's got a lot of things to do here. He certainly wants to get some points on the board because they got to stay right in the game. He's got a lot of pressure on him right now.
Don Cockcroft will kick it off. Nesby Glasgow and Kim Anderson are deep for the Baltimore Colts. It'll be Anderson on the 6. The 20, 25, 30. And he's still struggling. Gets to the 33, almost the 34. And John Mooring, who has been very effective on the special teams unit, makes the tackle after a 24-yard return. 80 yards, 11 plays, 5 minutes and 38 seconds. Very balanced attack on that last drive of the Cleveland Browns, and Charles White scoring a second touchdown of the afternoon on a 5-yard run. Cleveland Franklin 38, Joe Washington 20 will be the setbacks for the Baltimore Colts. Ray Butler is splitting wide to the left, Roger Carr to the right. Jones looking for Carr. Incomplete, overthrown, the coverage double. Darden, 27, Tom Darden, and Ron Bolden, 28. We're on Roger Carr, who's having a super year, but not an afternoon. I believe that's the first pass thrown to him.
Well, that is, and that was a little overthrown. The defender came up, was in front of him, and it was double covered. Like you say, the safety coming over to cover from behind. That makes it tough for Jones to get that ball in there.
Ron Bolden, veteran out of Norfolk State. Cleveland leading 21-6. 5:16 to go in the first half. Jones zipping it. Incomplete on the 40-yard line to Joe Washington coming out of the backfield. Clay Matthews, 57, the linebacker, had the coverage, and we had a flag drop. So we'll see what that's about. Both teams holding is the call against the Cleveland Browns, and that will give Baltimore a first down. Look at this possession. The Browns have scored 3 touchdowns, and the Colts just haven't been able to get the ball enough.
Well, the thing is, they not only haven't had the
holding, 5-9 defense. It's a first down.
To continue, the thing is, they haven't had the ball enough, but when they've had it, they really haven't been able to move it very well. The Cleveland Browns are playing very great ball here, and they're splitting their linebackers, and they're coming up and stopping the run, and they're also putting a lot of pressure on Jones.
Charlie Hall, the linebacker, had the holding call, and the ball is dropped by Joe Washington. So it's an incompletion. Ball still at the 38-yard line, where it will be second down and 10. You know, I started to mention a moment ago, Carl, that both Burt Jones and Brian Sipe have excellent pass receiving running backs, which just makes that offensive threat even greater. And both quarterbacks are not afraid to use them at all.
No, they go to their backs a lot, especially when the deep receivers are such a threat. They end up in double coverage a lot. But that was exceptional that you see Joe Washington drop a ball like that. The ball was well thrown, and that just adds to Burt Jones' frustration.
Second and 10. Jones staying in the pocket. The ball is batted down by number 94, Elvis Franks. A big rookie out of Morgan State. He used all of that 6'4" frame to bat that ball down. It is third down and 10 for the Baltimore Colts. Well, the Browns are getting a pretty good pass rush this afternoon. They have not blitzed as much as I'm sure the Colts expected them to, however.
Well, no, they haven't. Well, when you're ahead this many points, well, you don't have to blitz as much. But their defensive line is getting great pressure on Jones, and he's trying to dump the ball off. He's only thrown really a couple long balls, and he hasn't had the time to do that. So you see the effectiveness of the defensive line getting pressure on the quarterback.
5 defensive backs are on the field for the Cleveland Browns. 3rd down 10 for Burt Jones and the Colts. Pursuing, Alzado misses the tackle. Jones throwing on the run, and Carr grabs the ball, but he is out of bounds. Roger Carr near the sideline, out of bounds as he caught the ball. Tom Darden, 27, at the coverage on Carr. And finally, Burt Jones spotted him on the sideline.
Okay, you've got Burt Jones going out of the pocket here. What you did not see was the fact that the defensive tackle for the Browns came all the way around the other end, leaving the pocket over there, making so that Jones could go to that side. Out of frustration, he threw the ball, and they was not able to complete it. But he was under pressure there, running them out of the pocket.
Mike Bragg with a 40-yard punting average for the season will kick it away to Dino Hall. Little Dino out of Glassboro State. Lovely kick, he shanked it. But he gets a roll, but not a good enough roll. It did not stay inside. Looked like it might. It went out of bounds at the 34. So we've got 4:46 left to go in the first half. And the Cleveland Browns are leading Baltimore 21-6.
Foreign oil. We know the consequences. Higher prices, political instability. So America is working hard to reduce our dependence by increasing the use of our own energy resources. At Westinghouse, we're using our technology to get more energy out of coal and nuclear. And we're working on solar, fusion, fuel cells, and other renewable sources to serve our children for generations. Westinghouse, a powerful part of your life.
John Burns joined the Army in March and kept us waiting until October. Kathy Wolf joined the Army in May and kept us waiting all summer. If you're a high school graduate or about to be, you can join the Army now and take up to 12 months to report for duty. That way, if you qualify, we can guarantee you the skill training that makes you happiest. And we think a happy soldier is worth waiting for. This is the Army, a chance to serve your country as you serve yourself. Call this number toll-free.
Next Sunday, kick off a big day of football action with host Brian Gumbel and NFL 80 as we talk to Mean Joe Green about his career and possible retirement. Plus, Pete Axtone's commentary, NFL 80. It's as hard-hitting as the sport it covers. Check local listings for time.
Well, I'll tell you, there you see a frustrated Burt Jones sitting on the sidelines on one side, and also equally frustrated Mike McCormick. These guys have not really been able to do what they wanted to do today, and they're in trouble right now.
Pittsburgh leading Tampa Bay 24-14 in the third quarter. The Browns have the football. First down at their own 34. Ryan Sipe going to Charles White. White hits the right side to the 38 and Sanders Schreiber 54 and Ed Simonini 56. The linebackers have to make the tackle. It'll be a second down coming up and 6 yards to go, and the Chicago Bears continue to hold that big lead over the Washington Redskins, who finally scored now in the third quarter at Soldier Field in Chicago. St. Louis holding a 17-6 advantage in the second quarter over Atlanta. And Minnesota shutting out Detroit in the second quarter. The Lions will play the Colts next week. San Francisco a 10-point lead over Green Bay in the second quarter. Ryan Sipe, 2nd and 6. Mike Pruitt to midfield. He has been phenomenal today. A 12-yard pickup. Nesby Glasgow from the secondary to make the tackle.
Well, you talk about the offensive line of the Cleveland Browns. You see here, Simonini gets handled here, and Pruitt just picks his hole, making an opening, and they've got first down.
And Pruitt has carried the ball 11 times for 77 yards. Not a bad average, Carl.
That's not a bad average, I'll tell you. He's having a great year. He's able to catch the ball now, but I'll tell you, he's running extremely well. He's a big back that can pick his opening, and he's got good speed once he does.
Logan in motion. The pitch to Pruitt. The block in the corner. And look at Pruitt turn it. Flag goes down as he is out of bounds at the 42-yard line of Baltimore. Nesby Glasgow ran him out of bounds. Got about 8 yards on the play, but let's see what the penalty is. It is 21-6. Cleveland, clip against the Browns. We're down to 3 minutes, 16 seconds to play in the first half here at Baltimore's Memorial Stadium. I'm Merle Harmon with Carl Eller. Glad to have you with us as the Browns try to keep pace with the Houston Oilers. In fact, they would have a half-game lead if they win this game over Houston.
Personal foul, clipping 8-0 offense, first down.
Willis Adams, number 80 on the clip.
Well, we've been talking about Mike Pruitt. He's been carrying the ball to the middle, but we talked about his speed a lot, too. It's very unusual. You'll see a fullback-type running back that's able to carry the ball with the size and that Mike Pruitt has, and also carry the ball wide.
Ozzie Newsome is now split to the left. Rucker to the right. First down on the 36, 24 to go for Cleveland. Charles White breaking a tackle at the line of scrimmage and then being socked by Mike Ozdowski, number 71, the defensive right end. So he got very little on that play. Browns have suffered 43 yards in penalties. The Colts 22. It's been a Browns first half. 2 minutes, 54 seconds and the clock running. Second down, 21 after a gain of 3 by Charles White. 83, Ricky Feature coming into the screen, splitting wide to the left side. Sipe with time, throwing to Pruitt, who takes a hit on the 44. We got about 6. Anders Shiver, 54, made the tackle. Shiver has tremendous speed. In fact, he scored a touchdown this year. To show his speed, he intercepted Terry Bradshaw and rolled 34 yards for a touchdown. That offensive line up front has really done a job for the Browns this afternoon. Henry Shepard playing out of position, number 65, playing the left tackle. Joe Delamalure, normally a right guard, number 64, playing the left guard because of the injury to Doug Deacon. Tom DeLeon at center, Robert E. Foster playing right guard, 68, Cody Rison, 63 at right tackle, and we've hit the 2-minute mark, and we've got a timeout in Baltimore, and the Cleveland Browns have a 21-6 lead, and we'll return in a moment.
This Bud's for everyone who serves us a hot one, pops us a cold one.
This Bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
America's not going to be pushed around anymore.
The K cars are here. Front-wheel drive Dodge Aries K, America's highest mileage 6-passenger car, challenges Toyota Corona. Each starts with 12 gallons of gas. Toyota says, oh, what a feeling. But for mileage, you'll feel better with Aries. Look, the 4-passenger Corona runs out after 444 miles. The 6-passenger Aries goes on almost 50 miles further. Aries K at your Dodge Ram dealer. The American way to beat the pump.
Aries coupe prices start at $58.80.
Brian Sipe is 14 out of 15 in this first half for 152 yards and 1 touchdown in the air, which makes Sam Tagliano very happy.
All right, makes him very happy, and it makes the coach and Mike McCormick very unhappy.
That front four of Baltimore has not been able to get to Sipe like he would like for it to today.
Well, they haven't. They're doing a lot of stunting in there, but the Browns have been mixing it up. That frustrates the defensive line. It slows down the pass rush, and also makes them frustrated in terms of running the draw play and stuff like that.
Third down, 15. And the swing pass to Mike Pruitt at the 40. And Pruitt sees that he can go nowhere. I don't even know if he picked up enough yardage to get back to the line of scrimmage. Larry Brazil, 47, ran him out of bounds. And this time it looked like the Colts loop. They played it.
Well, they did. That's what they've been doing. If you don't get that great penetration, if that first man doesn't get in there and break that pocket down, the second man has a long way to come around, and that slows him down. And then the first guy's picked up, and you talk about the Cleveland Browns offensive line, they're certainly picking up those stunts well.
Johnny Evans is punting for the first time today with a 38.3 average. He kicked well against the Bears last Monday night, 39.3, not 38. Don't want to take a yard away from him. Glasgow calling for the fair catch and fields the ball at the 27. Next Sunday, start your day with NFL 80. and host Brian Gumbel bringing you all the latest news, scores, highlights, and more. Then it's exciting doubleheader action as the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Cleveland Browns and the San Diego Chargers battle the Kansas City Chiefs, plus other regional games. That's all next Sunday here on NBC Sports. Check your listings for the games and the times in your area. 30-yard kick by Johnny Evans. Ball at the 27 of the Colts. Now let's see if Burt Jones can take the Colts 73 yards and establish momentum going into the second half. Don McCauley is in the backfield, number 23. Jones looks for him, but goes instead to number 45, Mike Siani. Siani is stopped by Dick Ambrose at the 45-yard line, and it's a first down as Siani comes into the ball game to grab a 22-yard reception. Mike, a veteran from Villanova. Timeout with 1:38 to go in the first half. 21-6 Cleveland will return in a moment.
Hey, there's Ray Niski. Come on. Like a bolt of lightning, Gale Sayers flashed across the NFL. He was great. Hey, look, that's Gale Sayers. Are you really Gale Sayers?
It's really me. I saw you standing here and thought maybe you're like a tour through the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Great!
Come on, let's take a look at it. This is where you'll find all the heroes. And this is where all their dreams come true. It's got it all. The old, the new, and they keep updating it all the time. There's something of interest for every fan of every age and every team. And here's the history of the Super Bowl. Just watch.
Star's passing game was clicking as it had the previous year.
Hey, where'd he go?
You never know who you're going to meet at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Don't miss it.
The preceding announcements were furnished by the National Football League. The Baltimore Colts trailing the Cleveland Browns by 21-6. Have the ball at the Colt 45-yard line. But they've got tremendous weapons in that offensive lineup. And Burt Jones is the man who can pull the trigger on them. Butler split to the right, Carr split to the left. Jones over the middle. It is complete to Mike Siani. Siani is down to the 32-yard line of the Cleveland Browns. A gain of 24 yards. Clarence Scott, number 22, makes the tackle as Jones got smacked as he let that ball go. And Clarence Scott was the man who stopped Siani, and Baltimore takes its second timeout. And the Colts have marched to the 32.
Okay, Jones gets a lot of pressure here, but we've got the Bradley coming around, and he gets to him. He closes the pocket in, and I think Burt Jones may have hit his hand or hit his finger there or something on one of the helmets. But what happens is Siani gets down, and he's able to get a completion there. Burt Jones makes a great throw, even though he's under pressure.
And Greg Landry may be coming in. He's warming up in a hurry on the sideline. Next Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, it's Games People Play with the last semifinal round of the 3-ton tug-of-war as the Machinists take on the Firemen. Plus, Kansas City slugger George Brett enlightens us to Over the Line, a fascinating baseball game for all on Games People Play, 8 o'clock Eastern, Saturday. A special. Will he or won't he? Greg Landry come on, or will he stay on the sideline? Burt Jones, I believe, is going to be coming back. He's has shown indications that he'll be back. Mike McCormick with a headset on, checking him out to make sure that he is okay. Cleveland has not used a timeout in the first half, didn't need to, building up 21 points. Landry will stay on the sideline. Jones is back. And the Baltimore Colts have one timeout remaining and a first down on the 32-yard line of the Cleveland Browns. And NFL 80 coming up at halftime, and it's starting to drizzle a little bit here in Baltimore, and we're going to talk to Carl Eller about momentum going into the third quarter in a moment as Ken Mendenhall goes over the ball. Jones, Carr incomplete. The coverage by Oliver Davis, number 21, the left cornerback. And Carl Eller, what would a touchdown mean to the Baltimore Colts as far as momentum is concerned? Is momentum as great as we all think it is?
You bet.
As a player, you tell us.
You bet, Merle. Momentum is everything, really. We'll see it swing back and forth in the games you watch, but here you see the momentum is on Cleveland Brown's side. And you can notice that in the Colts defense, they're not as crisp out there tackling, and they're breaking tackles and they're getting the long runs. This contributes to the Browns' momentum, and of course it goes against the Baltimore Colts. They need a score here to pick themselves up going into the half.
2nd and 10. Jones still looking, and it's going to be intercepted on the 10-yard line. It is brought back to around the 24. Ray Butler was the intended receiver, and the pass was picked off by Ron Bolton, number 28, and so the Browns stop the Baltimore Colt drive with 1 minute 17 seconds left to go in the first half, and the Browns are leading 21-6.
Well, you talk about momentum here. You see the Cleveland Browns defensive line, they're running Burt Jones all over the place. He's coming out of the pocket. His receivers are covered downfield. Bolton comes over, and also they get an interception here. So this means that the Browns now have the ball. When the Colts have the ball and try to score, the Browns have got the ball. They're taking that opportunity away.
Now, Burt Jones underthrew by about 5 or 6 yards. You think that injured finger or hand had anything to do with that?
Well, I don't know. You see, the pattern was broken there. I think the receiver kept going deep, and the ball was thrown, actually, and the defender reacted to it.
That's Cleo Miller in the fullback, taking that pass across the field from Brian Sipe and being run out of bounds. So Sipe is not going to sit on this lead, apparently. He wants more. Fred Cook chased him out of bounds. It'll be 2nd down coming up.
Also, there was another missed tackle there. The very things we talked about as far as momentum is concerned.
A gain of about, well, let's see, where they're going to mark the ball. It'll be a gain of 2, 2nd down 8, and the rain is falling in Baltimore. It was predicted. We were hoping that it would stay away until this game is over. Ricky Feature, 83, is coming to the lineup. He is splitting wide to the left with 1 minute 9 to go in the first half. Sipe fakes the draw, drills over the middle, incomplete. It was intended for Willis Adams, number 80, the second-year man from Houston. And so the clock is stopped with 1 minute 4 seconds remaining in the first half. Well, if this rain continues, what does this mean to the passing game for the veterans Brian Sipe and Burt Jones, particularly Jones?
Well, Jones now is the one who's going to have to pass. He's behind, but you see that Sipe's not sitting on the lead. We talked about momentum just a minute ago. Sipe thinks maybe he can still get on the board because you see the weather conditions are changing here. It's going to make it that much tougher for Jones, who's got to come back here and try to get his team back into the ball game.
Rucker is split to the left. 3rd down, 7. Charles White trying to get that first down, but I don't think he made it. 42, Derek Hatchett, the left cornerback, over there to make the tackle. And the punting unit comes on with 48 seconds to go in the first half. Johnny Evans will punt for the 2nd time today for the Cleveland Browns. And we have a timeout called by Baltimore. The rain coming down pretty good right now, as the Colts take their last timeout.
Okay, Merle, something very important here. Burt Jones knows he's got to get his team on the scoreboard here. They've got fairly good field position. If they can get the ball on a bad punt or something like that, they still got time maybe to go in. They should have had a timeout prepared to call just as soon as that play was stopped and they didn't get first down there, and giving themselves a few more seconds, which they may need here before the half ends.
Could be a very costly here.
It could be.
It's raining too hard here.
It'll be 4th down. 4th down and 1. The rain continuing to fall. Sam Ratigliano has put a rain jacket on with a 21-6 lead. Sometimes coaches don't even know it's raining. Nesby Glasgow is back deep and a single safety to receive the punt from Johnny Evans. 47 seconds to go in the first half. The Colts are going for the block, and they almost got it. Glasgow slipping down and taking the ball at the 37-yard line. The Colts went all out to block the punt. They didn't make it. 41 seconds to go. Now, with the clock stopped in 41 seconds, a 30-yard kick by Johnny Evans, who has not punted long today. He had a good day Monday night, a good night against the Chicago Bears, but his kicking game has been a little bit off this year.
one thing we see the rain coming down there, and people are putting up their umbrellas and putting on their raincoats, but it does slow down the defensive line pass rush. The soft turf makes it harder for the defensive line to dig in and get off to a good start. The ball gets a little slippery, but they keep a dry ball out there. Maybe it'll be to Burt Jones' advantage.
And these fans under the umbrellas hoping that Jones can do something in the final seconds. He's out of the pocket throwing on the run, and that is Joe Washington. Washington trying to get to the sideline. He does. He stops the clock near the 45-yard line. Oliver Davis, number 21, chased him out of bounds. Now we have 32 seconds left in the first half.
They've got to get out of bounds, too, Merle. I think Baltimore is out of timeouts, so they got to throw the ball to the outside, or they've got to, I don't think they'll run the ball here. They'll just be all passes because they don't have any timeouts left, and they've got to stop the clock. They've got enough time to score, though, and Burt Jones has a strong enough arm, and he's got the deep receivers in Carr and Butler to go deep, so maybe he'll try to hit a couple passes toward the outside and get into the end zone.
After a gain of 8, second down 2, Cleveland ahead 21-6. Brian DeRue, 87 is now in the game. And it is Don McCauley coming out of the backfield at the 40-yard line. And McCauley has the first down, a gain of 14. Clay Matthews, 57, the linebacker, making the tackle. The clock showing 18 seconds. The Colts have to hurry. 16. And back to throw. Burt Jones completes it to Joe Washington, who runs out of bounds to stop the clock around the 35-yard line. We have 10 seconds left in the first half now.
Well, they've only got 10 seconds left here, Merle. That pass play, the one just before, was a very costly play. They got a completion, but they didn't get a timeout here. We saw about 20 seconds run off the clock just in order to get the clock stopped.
A gain of 5 yards, second down 5, 10 seconds to go. The Colt bench hoping that Jones can pull off a miraculous play here and put 6 points on the board. And 7.
He's got to go into the end zone from here.
8 seconds, 7 seconds. Washington going to get what he can and get out of bounds, and he does. 5 seconds to go. And the field goal unit comes on. Oliver Davis chased Washington out of bounds as Joe was looking right at the time remaining, ran for 8 yards, went out of bounds. First down for the Baltimore Colts and 5 seconds remaining. And Steve Mickemeyer is coming on for the field goal attempt. It will be from around the 30, just inside the 30, making it a 40-yard effort. And in that range, he is 2 out of 4 this year. He's 9 out of 16 for the year. Mickemeyer's got the distance. It is not good. It is off to the right. So Mickemeyer, who missed an extra point, has now missed a field goal. The clock has run out, and the first half is over. So the Cleveland Browns have dominated this game in the first half as they attempt to pick up a half game on the Houston Oilers, who will be playing tomorrow. So the Browns are tied with the Oilers right now in the AFC Eastern Division. It is 21-6 Cleveland at halftime, and we'll be back from Baltimore's Rainey Memorial Stadium right after this.
If you're shopping for a new car, it's smart to talk to an Allstate agent before you buy.
Before I buy? Why?
Some cars get a break on insurance at Allstate.
Oh, we'll be right back.
Let's face it, all cars aren't built the same. At Allstate, some cost less to insure.
Buy one of these, and we'll pass the savings on to you. Up to 35% less on comprehensive.
35%?
We'll be right back.
Different rates for different cars. You're in good hands with Allstate.
That's a promise for me, Judy Davis.
We asked men to compare the inexpensive Bic shaver to the expensive track tube.
No difference.
No difference. No difference. No difference. There's no difference.
The results of the Bic Barber test surprised a lot of people. 58% found Bic shave equal to or better than track tubes. Why pay more? Most men we tested felt
no difference.
And the price?
Big difference.
The incredible Bic, still under a quarter.
Next Saturday on NBC Sports World, an outstanding international field including Guy Drew, Madeline Manning-Mims, Harvey Glantz, and world record holder Pietro Minia compete in World Invitational Track and Field from China. Plus, from Stowe, Vermont, the grueling giant slalom in the Pro Skiing Championship Series. And top greats roll off in the semifinals of the Legends of Bowling. All next Saturday on NBC Sports World.
The Cleveland Browns have dominated the first half of this ball game today here in rainy Baltimore. The rain started to fall about 5 minutes ago. Cleveland built up a first quarter lead of 14-0 behind the expert quarterbacking of Brian Sipe. And Carl Eller, he has just been absolutely outstanding today.
Well, there are a couple things that come into play here. We've talked about the Cleveland Browns. They're now on the top of the league. Sipes is at his best. They're having a good year. They're feeling good. I think you're seeing the confidence come out, and it's certainly being displayed here in terms of the teams, how Cleveland's playing against the Baltimore Colts.
We were looking for a heavy bombardment by both quarterbacks this afternoon. Brian Sipe of Cleveland, of course, Burt Jones of Baltimore. But Sipe came out in the first 2 drives, led his team to 2 touchdowns, and he did it with a balanced scoring attack. They've used a lot of running today. Has this surprised you?
Well, no, it hasn't. You've seen Mike Pruitt, who's running the ball. He's got tremendous back there. He's having to also enjoying the confidence that the whole team is sharing. You see that too in the defense. The defense is putting the pressure on Burt Jones. I just think they're a well-balanced team, and they're going to do well, and they're certainly playing great here today.
The Baltimore Colts obviously have to regroup their forces because they are trailing now by 21-6, and they've got to do it in a hurry while they're in the dressing room. We'll be back from Baltimore right after this.
Here they come again. Smokey and the Bandit. Burt Reynolds got a Smokey on his tail.
This is Sheriff Cupid, Deep Justice.
A lady on his lap and a legal brew in the ring. He's doing it for the money, for the glory, and for the fun.
Mostly for the money.
With Sally Field. And Jackie Gleason. Tuesday on NBC.
If doing things different is your style, Genesee Cream Ale is your brew.
Our friends thought we were crazy to live on a boat instead of a house.
But where do they all show up on the weekend?
Next time that you're thirsty, make Jenny Cream your brew. The taste is something different. It's smoother drinking too.
I like it, 'cause there's nothing like it.
It's different.
Genesee Cream Ale.
Bank Ohio has a great way to simplify your banking.
Right now, only at Bank Ohio.
With our checking interest plan, you can combine your checking and savings dollars and earn interest on all your money.
Right now, only at Bank Ohio.
Now there's no need to have your savings in one place, your checking another. Bank Ohio's checking interest plan. Get high interest, no service charges, and great convenience. Right now at Bank Ohio.
Right now, only at Bank Ohio. Right now. Want something tasty and delicious? Taco Bell, Taco Bell. We've got lots of different dishes. Taco Bell, Taco Bell. Tacos, burritos, tostadas, enchiladas. Taste the one and only original Taco Bell.
It's great tasting because we use fresh ground beef, never frozen, and it's cooked in our own famous sauce.
Real cheddar cheese.
Come taste the one and only original Taco Bell.
Baltimore by a score of 21-6 here at the half. And the Cardiac Kids, Carl, are not the Cardiac Kids today because it's been their ball game in the first half.
Well, it's been their ball game. To explain a little bit, the Cardiac Kids, the name came about because they were winning so many ball games in the last second. This is kind of the mark of a team that's just finding themselves, just getting established. That is certainly not the case today. They're a very confident team, and they're playing like it. They come out, they know they can play. They don't care what the other team can do. They're going to go out and play their ball game regardless of who's on the field, and they come out and beginning to show the other team right away what they can do.
Well, they did exactly that, taking the opening kickoff this afternoon, and Brian Sipe marched his Cleveland Browns downfield 62 yards in a hurry, and the scoring drive was capped with Charles White touchdown run.
Well, Charles White, they've got a lot of weapons there. He breaks this ball, starting from the middle, cutting back there, and he's got tremendous speed. He's a good running back, and he's certainly a great rookie.
You know, Sam Ratigliano, the head coach of the Browns, and Brian Sipe believe they can control the game with the pass. Now, that may be a new concept. Bill Walsh out in San Francisco says that's how he did it in college and also in the pro ranks. And so Brian Sipe, obviously, with the weapons he has, can control a game and did. He uses everybody. Dave Logan, for instance, is going to be a threat at all times. He has tremendous speed outside. I shouldn't say tremendous speed, but adequate speed. But he has those great hands. And this time, Dave Logan picks up his touchdown on a 39-yard pass from Sipe.
Well, Logan's got great speed here. He gets a great reception. He gets behind the defender, and it goes, and it's a long pass.
And that made it 14-0, that touchdown, and the quarter ended with the Browns on top by 2 touchdowns. But you could expect Burt Jones to get the Baltimore Colts going. Actually, it was the defensive unit that stripped the ball and turned the ball over to the offense near the midfield stripe that finally got the Colts underway.
Well, that was Mike Barnes that stripped the ball away. They got the ball in midfield. It took them about 3 plays to go in and score. They're not out of this game, but they're a long way behind. Burt Jones does have a tremendous arm, and he can throw the ball, but they've got to get back on track. The weather's changed now. It's going to be a little harder for the defensive Browns to rush the passer, so maybe Burt Jones can get some of those passes away and get themselves back into the game.
He's used Reese McCall more this year, hasn't he?
Well, he has. Reese has got 3 touchdowns, and he's using his tight end more. But Carr, he's got also Roger Carr and Ray Butler, who are tremendous wide receivers and deep threats. Carr liking to go to the outside a little more, but Butler is the one to go downfield, so he's got those guys to use.
Well, Reese McCall got his touchdown as Burt Jones spotted him and fired 24 yards to McCall.
Well, you see, he gets the ball over the middle, and it's a good play. Reese McCall is a big target for Burt Jones to throw it.
But I guess when you score against a good football team, and the Browns and the Colts are certainly both good football teams, Brian Sipe, for instance, comes right back and starts a drive, and it was capped by Charles White's 5-yard touchdown run. 21-6 is the score at the half. Now looking at other ball games, the Pittsburgh Steelers are leading Tampa Bay by a score of 24-21. That game is now in the 4th quarter as Williams has hit Ricky Bell for an 8-yard touchdown pass. Continuing, what a game this is. Dallas was down by 2 touchdowns, now leading 35-28 in the 4th quarter. Tony Dorsett has just scored on a 12-yard touchdown run. Robert Newhouse scored before that on a 29-yard run. And then Danny White hit Ron Springs on a 58-yard touchdown pass. So Dallas has scored 3 quick touchdowns to grab the lead over the New York Giants, who are looking right now at their 9th defeat of the season. Continuing with our scores, the Chicago Bears build up a big halftime lead of 35-0 over the Washington Redskins, are holding 35-14 in the 4th quarter. Joe Theismann has scored the 2nd touchdown for the Redskins. And Atlanta and St. Louis. Well, the Cardinals are playing good football. Otis Anderson having another good year. He just scored on an 8-yard touchdown run to make it 24-6 St. Louis over Atlanta. Detroit and Minnesota, halftime score. Your old team, Carl, ahead by a score of 10-0 as Kramer has hit Brown with a 67-yard scoring pass, and Ted really turned it on. Rick Danmeyer had a 27-yard field goal. And let's see what else we have for you. San Francisco leading Green Bay by a score of 13-10. Green Bay was favored in that game. Terry Middleton scored for Green Bay on a 1-yard touchdown run to make it 13-10. And we have 3:59 to go before halftime in that game. Well, next Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, it's games people play with the last semifinal round of the 3-ton tug-of-war as the Machinists take on the Firemen. Plus, Kansas City slugger George Brett enlightens us to Over the Line, a fascinating baseball game for all. And Shecky Green is the master of ceremonies and America's best bartender as the best from the East and the West meet to test their skills. That's all next Saturday on Games People Play here on NBC.
Saturday, it's a special Games People Play when swingers demonstrate a different kind of baseball. Youngsters come out for the Youth Fitness Pentathlon. Adults enter the Grand Prix of tricycle racing. And a grown man attempts to break the world record speedboat jump. Don't miss a special edition of Games People Play Saturday on NBC.
This 1980 National Football League game is brought to you by Erlanger. One look, one sip, one taste will tell you this beer is a classic. By Dodge, with the new 6-passenger Dodge RHK and the new Ram Tough Dodge pickups and vans. By the Champion Spark Plug Company. Champion, you can't buy a better plug. And by Hertz, where winners rent. In rainy Baltimore, the teams are coming back on the field. The Browns pretty much dominated the first half, although the Colts did start to pick up some extra playing time. The time of possession, so important in a ball game, but the Browns even dominated that. But the statistics pretty well tell the story, Carl.
Well, yes, they do. The statistics are very uneven here, with the Browns having the ball almost 2-1 over the Baltimore Colts.
and 282 yards total offense versus the Colts 148 yards. And of course the Colts need a big comeback in the second half. But looking at that Dallas Cowboy New York Giants score a moment ago, we know that teams with explosive firepower like Dallas and like Baltimore and Burt Jones can certainly make life very interesting for the Browns in the second half.
Well, it certainly can. You know, this is the time of year where you're in the 10th game of the season, Merle. These teams now are trying to line themselves up for playoffs. They're making the bids now. These games are very important. There's not the time to kind of fill your team out or where you're going. They're coming down to the end stretch, the last third of the season. Burt Jones is going to do everything he can to try to bring his team back in the game here and try to win this game. On the other hand, the Browns being ahead and being on top of their divisions, they can take a half a game lead here. If they certainly can hold that, it's going to mean a lot to them in their race for the playoff berth.
And so the Cleveland Browns, who are tied with the Houston Oilers for the Central Division lead against the Baltimore Colts, who trail New England by 2, and a lot will depend on Burt Jones, of course, in the second half. Can he bring the Colts back? Cleveland has played an outstanding football game this afternoon and very possibly could go on and dominate the game in the second half behind Brian Sipe, just as Sipe led the Browns in the first half. But that's Paul McDonald right now, the left-handed thrower out of USC, the rookie quarterback. Everybody's got the rain gear on. Not everybody. Mike McCormick finally put a jacket on, but that's all. Mike, I tell you, I've traveled a lot of very cold, rainy, snowy, icy days with Mike McCormick over the years. And Carl, I would imagine that you've experienced a few of those days down in the trenches.
Well, you bet I have. I'll tell you, those days up in Minnesota got awfully cold. Sometimes playing as cold as about 4 or 5 degrees above zero, though, but nothing quite as cold as that Green Bay-Dallas game championship of quite a few years ago.
So the Baltimore Colts will kick it away to start the second half. Steve Mickemeyer has that ball all teed up. Now he's going to reset it. Keith Wright, who normally handles the kick returns for the Cleveland Browns, is out of the game with a knee injury, and we are told will not be back. Dino Hall, one of the most exciting little players you'll see in the NFL, is back there for the Browns. So Mickemeyer is all set, and our second half from Baltimore is underway. Hall from the goal line. If they can find him, they might tackle him, and they do. They finally break him down on about the 20. And those yard markers are becoming less invisible, or less visible all the time. Donaldson made the tackle. So we'll do a little guessing as to where the ball is here in the second half. From the 20, we'll call it 1st and 10. But officially, we are now told from our sideline, it is the 22. The Cleveland Browns have Brian Sipe, the AFC's leading passer at quarterback. Dave Logan will be one wide receiver, 85. Reggie Rucker, the other wide receiver. Henry Shepard, 65, the left tackle. Cody Risen, 63, the right tackle. Joe DeLamalure, 64, the left guard. And Robert E. Jackson, 68, the right guard. Tom DeLeon is over the ball. Pruitt and Pruitt are the running backs. It's an easy one. The handoff is to Pruitt. Mike Pruitt is tackled by Ed Simonetti, the middle linebacker.
Well, Simonetti has been playing well today, but yet and still they've had a lot of success. Here he plugs a hole and tackles Mike Pruitt, who's a big back. And they're almost the same size, but Ed Simonetti wins the battle here.
And he lost about a yard.
Yes, he did.
Second down, 11. Brian Sipe calling his play. His receivers are split to each side. Sipe makes the swing, throws the screen to the other side. And Ozzie Newsome, the tight end, takes the ball to near the 30. Sander Schreiber, 54, makes the tackle. A tight end screen and a good fake by Brian Sipe.
I'll tell you, that's the first ball Ozzie Newsome has caught today, but he's a big part of their offense. And playing tight end, where you don't normally find the speed of a wide receiver, not saying that Ozzie Newsome has the speed of a wide receiver, but he certainly has the ability to get deep and to get in the open to catch the ball. And Sipe has not gone to him today, and I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't, but I can see why with all the other weapons that he has.
After a gain of 9, third down 2. The defensive front four, Ozdowski 71, Orvis 88, Barnes 63, Cook 72. to Greg Pruitt, right over the line. The offensive line of Cleveland, I am just amazed the way they have been able to handle that Baltimore defensive front four today.
Well, they're an experienced veteran line. Although they've got Jackson there in place of injured Doug Deacon, they're the guys that have played together, and they work really well. Joe DeLongmelier has added a lot to their offensive line, and adds the stability there. And they've been able to pick up Baltimore's stunts, and they're kept them out of there so far.
Nesby Glasgow is back deep for Johnny Evans' punt. Maybe I should have said, I'm amazed that the Brown offensive line has handled the Colt defense with the ease that they have, because it is an outstanding unit. Going for the block, Evans gets it away. Glasgow, fair catch call for, taken on the 34-yard line of the Baltimore Colts, and on comes the offensive unit for Baltimore. We have 13 minutes, 14 seconds to go in the third quarter. A 32-yard punt by Johnny Evans, and no return as the fair catch was called for by Glasgow. So Burt Jones, whatever bag of tricks that he has, bringing him onto the field right now. But we're going to have a timeout here in Baltimore, I believe, or are we? We are not. Thought we saw a signal for a timeout. We'll stay with it. Mendenhall over the ball. Burt Jones ready to put the ball in play. The tailback, and this is Curtis Dickey right up the middle for about 4. It'll be second down 6, and Bradley, 91, the nose tackle from Alcorn State, and Marshall Edwards, number 90, the defensive left end out of TCU, make the tackle for the Cleveland Browns. The Browns feel they can go all the way this year, and it looks like they have the weaponry to back that up, Carl.
Well, they certainly do. They're in a division with Pittsburgh, who's not having that great a year, but I'll tell you, this is one of the reasons why. When you talk about Brian Sipe and the Browns, you can equate Brian Sipe to Terry Bradshaw about the same stage when the Pittsburgh Steelers began to come into prominence.
Second down 7. That's Curtis Dickey trying to get to the outside, makes his cut, but he is knocked down. And Clarence Scott, 22, the strong safety out of Kansas State, makes the tackle. So Scott stayed right with the speedster. Not much on that one. It'll be third down 4 after a gain of a couple. Joe Washington 20, Don McCauley 23 are now in the backfield for the Baltimore Colts. So Dickey goes out and Franklin goes out.
Third and 4 at the 40.
Jeff Hart now at right tackle for Baltimore. George Coons is out of there. Wade Griffin, 69, the other tackle. The Browns blitz, and down goes Burt Jones at the 30-yard line. Mooring, the rookie linebacker, coming on with a blitz, and he was all over Burt Jones, who's been sacked for the 3rd time today.
Well, what happens here is he doesn't get picked up at all. And I'll tell you, there are a couple of cross signals here. He just comes in, sacks Burt Jones, just runs right in there, and nobody stops him. But the other thing is that maybe they could see the blitz coming. They moved up right before the ball was snapped. Somebody should have been looking for him to dump the ball off.
A long loss on the play. It is now a 4th down and 13. Punt is away by Mike Bragg, and Dino Hall will bring it back, breaking one tackle, getting across the 40. He's down to about the 42. And we've got a timeout now with 11:25 to go in the third quarter. Cleveland leading Baltimore by a score of 21-6.
Alcoa can't wait.
It's simple. A lighter car will use less gasoline. That's why designers and stylists in Detroit are using and considering more aluminum than ever before for hoods, doors, wheels, and over 24 other applications. Detroit is as interested in saving energy as you are. And strong, lightweight aluminum is part of the picture.
We can't wait for tomorrow. Alcoa can't wait.
What I know about my car could fit in the glove compartment. I just want someone to work on it I can trust.
My mechanics and I are professionals. We take pride in our work, and that builds trust.
I've always figured the best mechanics use quality parts.
If a part fails, it's my reputation that's damaged. So I use Napa brand parts. Lots of them are better than original parts.
For quality parts you can trust, look for the Napa sign. When the name is Napa, the standard is quality.
On NBC Sports World Invitational Track and Field from China, the intensity and incredible strength of women's powerlifting, and the legends of bowling, next Saturday.
Well, it looks like the Baltimore fans are getting rained on more ways than one here today, Merle.
They came prepared, though. The forecaster was correct. Browns have sacked Jones 4 times after they finally stopped the Kansas City rush last week. 2 weeks ago, the Cardinals sacked Jones 12 times. Rucker in motion, 42-yard line, the line of scrimmage for Sight. And the handoff to Charles White. White a good cut. Gets about 3 or 4. And coming up from the secondary, Nesby Glasgow, but it was Mike Barnes, 63, who made the tackle. That last punt was only a 35-yarder, and little Dino Hall brought it back 4, so the Browns came out of that punt with pretty good field position. They lead 21-6. We're in the third quarter. Played 4 minutes of this third quarter. Now raining and still raining, and probably will continue to rain for the rest of this ball game. The Browns send Logan wide to the left side and Rucker in the slot right. Second down, 8. Ooh, Bruce Laird coming up in front of Rucker and almost picked it off. Bruce Laird, a 9-year veteran from American International.
Bruce Laird's a tough guy too. I think he's really wacky. He's got he's leading the backs in tackles. He comes up and he'll stick you.
He keeps that defensive unit together back there with his experience. Third down, 7, and Calvin Hill, 35, has come into the backfield for the Cleveland Browns. Kim Anderson has come in as a 5th defensive back for the Baltimore Colts. Let's see if Sight goes to Hill. Nope, he's going to go to Logan. He hits him on the 39-yard line of the Colts for a first down. And he is dropped on the 38 by Larry Brazil, a gain of 17 yards.
Thing is that we talked about the defensive line and how it affects their footage here, but they're not even getting close to Sight there. He just stands in and he throws the ball almost at will. He's got great receivers. They're getting open, and he's able to complete some long passes.
So the Browns, who lead 21-6, 10 minutes to go in the third quarter, send Logan to the left, Rucker in the slot to the left, Ozzie Newsome, the tight end, sets right. Fake to the deep man, and Mike Pruitt, the fullback, hits to the 35, and a flag is dropped. He got 3, and Mike Ozdowski, the third-year man from Virginia, makes the tackle. Holding. So the Browns will go the other way for a little bit. The Colts have really had a tough time beating the Browns over the years. In fact, the last time they beat the Browns was in 1975 by a score of 21-7. Don McCauley scored 1 touchdown. Burt Jones passed for 2 in that one. Here are the penalties for the day. All right, Cal, it's all yours.
Holding, 6-4. Offense, first down.
Joe DeLamalure, who was nailed a couple of times last week against the Bears, gets hit for the first penalty, his first penalty today. The left guard used to be with the Bills. Logan is split to the left and Rucker to the right. Calvin Hill and Mike Pruitt are the setbacks. First and 20. Fake to Pruitt. Throw to Hill. Incomplete. The coverage by number 59, Mike Woods, the linebacker. Both these teams, with the weapons that they have, we've alluded to them before. Not just the wide receivers, but the running backs who can catch the football. And that gives a long afternoon for the linebackers.
Look at that. You see Brian Sipes gets frustrated there. He hasn't missed too many today. He's been really on target, but he's a real competitor there. That ball is just over Calvin Hill's head there a little bit, and Calvin Hill is a main target once he gets in the game. Brian likes to go to him.
Kidding Calvin Hill today. He has not carried the ball this year. Sam Martigliano said, you know, if I'd had you earlier, made a wide receiver out of you, you could have played until you were 50. Hill and Miller are the running backs. Ozzie Newsome, the tight end, coming across, and he is down to the 44. Bruce Laird, number 40, brings him down after a 7-yard pickup, but they still have a ways to go for the first down. Ozzie Newsome, the Wizard of Oz from Alabama. Bear Bryant says he is one of the best he has not only coached, but he's ever seen. And Bruce Laird has been a good one, too, for the Baltimore Colts.
Now, Bruce Laird there had to come across from the other side, and he followed Ozzie Newsome all the way across the field, which was a kind of a little cross the field pattern, what they call a slant pattern by the tight end. And that's covered good ground there for the defensive back.
Still long way to go. There it is. Third down, 13. The Colt defense trying to break through, and finally it's Mike Barnes who yanks him down on the 45-yard line. That is the first time that Sipe has gone down today. And Mike Barnes, the 8-year veteran from Miami, who leads the club, that's his 8th sack of the year. He leads the club in sacks. And Sipe says, yeah, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to, my line, they've held you guys out pretty good today. And indeed they have, but I guess you can't be perfect. Johnny Evans will kick it away on 4th down and 27. Nesby Glasgow is deep for Baltimore. Just missed the block. Beautiful kick by Evans. Glasgow at the 6, at the 10, at the 15, at the 17. And he is dropped by Dino Hall. Good punt by Johnny Evans. 50-yard kick and a 7-yard return. Cleveland leads 21-6, and we'll be back right after this.
In the new world of video recorders, nobody offers more performance features than this one. RCA Selectivision 650, the maximum 6-hour recording time, an unsurpassed 14-day memory, and remote-controlled special effects like slow motion, picture search, and stop action. Nobody gives you more VCR than Selectivision 650. Let RCA turn your television into Selectivision.
For whatever you need, take the first step, the Bell System Yellow Pages.
For supplies to build this nursery, for all the furniture you see, I took the very first step.
For this wallpaper so nice and sweet, and wool to knit booties for her feet, we took the very first step.
The first step puts you steps ahead, saves time, money, energy. So let your fingers do the walking.
It's the very first step, the first step.
Saturday on a special games people play, it's the Grand Prix of tricycle racing, and a man attempts to break the world record speedboat jump. Saturday on NBC.
The Baltimore Colts will have the football, and yes, it is raining in Baltimore. All the rain gear is now out officially here at Memorial Stadium. 9 minutes, 11 seconds to go in the third quarter. The Colts have the ball, 1st and 10 on the 16. Franklin and Dickey are the running backs. Will he get a flag or not? Dickey plunging through the middle, going out to the 22. Franklin leaning forward, stopped his motion before the ball was snapped. Marshall Harris, number 90, made the tackle for the Cleveland Browns.
Well, the offensive backs and the wide receivers, they can make a move as long as they're set a second before the ball snaps. So that's why we don't have a flag there.
Gain of 5, 2nd down and 5 for the Colts. Ken Mendenhall, the veteran center from Oklahoma, 10-year man, anchors that offensive line, and let's see what Cleveland's going to do. They're going to bring on an extra defensive back. Look at big Cleveland Franklin banging his way for a 1st down, and he gets that ball out to about the 28-yard line. And it was Clay Matthews, 57, and Tom Darden, 27, who made the stop. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is WKYC TV3, television home of the Browns.
Merle, Harmon, and Carl Eller with you from rainy Baltimore. Sun was shining this morning. The clouds came on in the second quarter, started to rain before the half, and it is supposed to continue. It is 1st down for the Baltimore Colts at their own 29. They trailed 21-6. Jones slipping and sliding. Running. And going down sliding as Elvis Franks got a hold of his shirt or his shoulder pad and yanked him down after about 5. And Burt Jones was already making a slide, but Elvin Franks is going to make sure he didn't slide too far.
Well, I'll tell you, when you spend as much time on the sidelines as Burt Jones has due to injuries, that's a very smart move. He's not about to take any chances, especially with his team behind now, almost 3 touchdowns. But he has to get his team back in there, so he's got to be in the game in order for them to do that.
The Browns are going to go to a four-man front now. Marshall Harris, number 90, is out of the ball game. Bill Cower, 53, a linebacker, has moved in, and it's a slot left. Browns are just controlling the game on the ground as well as in the air, as Cleveland Franklin is brought down by Henry Bradley, 91, and Dick Ambrose, 52, after picking up enough for the first down. It is a first down at the 38-yard line.
I'm sure Jones is talking to those guys and tell them that they have to get something going to keep this momentum going. They're starting to drive way down their own part of the field. They've got a long way to go, but if they can contain the ball here and move, they may have another ball game.
21-6 Cleveland. Jones going to the far side. Roger Carr, his first reception of the day at midfield, and he is into Cleveland territory at the 48. Clinton Burrell, 49, takes him out of bounds after an 11-yard pickup by Roger Carr. Carr is just having a super year for the Baltimore Colts. In fact, he's kind of the Roger Carr of, well, the first 2 years he was over here. This is what he has done so far: 4 touchdowns, 617 yards going into this ball game. But he runs the patterns as well as anybody in the game.
He runs a great pattern. That was one of his favorite patterns there, going to the outside.
Curtis Dickey, little stutter stuff, trying to get back to the line of scrimmage, and did, I believe. Charlie Hall, 59, the left side linebacker, staying right with him. He might have picked up a half yard, maybe a yard. 6:06 left to go in the third quarter. Cleveland leading Baltimore 21-6.
Well, Dickey has the speed to get outside, but the footing is not really that great. He eludes a tackler here, jumping over. But what happens here is he doesn't have the field in order to get that great cut that he probably would have had. He probably would have gotten a longer gain here.
Curtis Dickey, and you saw what he has done today. And what he is capable of doing, well, he's capable of taking it all the way. Second down, 9. There he goes. Can he do it this time? Well, Curtis Dickey, he must have heard us talking about him. Clarence Scott, 22, on the tackle after a 21-yard pickup by Curtis Dickey.
Okay, we're talking about field position here, and you can't overemphasize the importance of having a good field, not only for the pass rush, but for the running backs. It's more important. Here he breaks open the middle, they get a good hole up there coming up, but he gets tackled here by Scott. But I think if it hadn't been an open field, he may be able to elude that tackle, and it would have been another about a 50-some yard touchdown, which he had last week.
And let's give Robert Pratt, number 61, the left guard, some credit for opening that hole. First down at the 28. Flag down. Jones to Carr, incomplete. Coverage by linebacker Clay Matthews, number 57. The Baltimore Colts have mounted a pretty good drive here. Offside against Cleveland. So the Colts will pick up a 5er. Cleveland Browns jumped out to a 14-0 first quarter lead on a touchdown run by Charles White and a 39-yard Brian Sipe to Dave Logan pass.
Encroachment, number 77, defense, line up offside. First down.
Watch Lyle Alzado, 77. There he is.
Okay, what they mean by encroachment is, I mean, the defensive lineman has got his head or helmet over the line of scrimmage. There's a neutral zone there, the length of the football, at which a defensive lineman cannot get himself into it. He gets in trouble there.
First and 5 on the Cleveland Brown 23, and we have play stop for a moment. Carl at 6'6". You sure you weren't encroaching a little bit when you were the Minnesota Vikings? What'd you do? Play 2 yards back?
As much as I could get away with, I'll tell you. But the defensive line has to get all of the ball. You don't want to give those offensive line any advantage, because you're about a foot away. The quicker you can get to the offensive line, the better it is. And now with the footing out there, beginning to soften a little bit, he wants to be able to crunch up really and maybe shorten his stance a little bit. And he's probably got a little bit closer to the ball than he really intended to.
All right. First down, 5 for Baltimore. 23-yard line of Cleveland. Curtis Dickey. Will he get the 5? He does. First down. Will he hold on to the football? It's slick. Yes, he does. Lyle Alzado, 77, makes the tackle, and Dickey gets 8 more for the Baltimore Colts. And Let's see where they mark that football. I believe they're going to mark it on the 14-yard line, or that'll be as close as we can make it, as the yard markers have pretty well vanished now because of the rain. It'll be a first down.
Okay, Merle, we talked about a minute before the half. We see that Baltimore Colts are moving in to score. They've been able to move the ball from the other end of the field. If they can score here, it will certainly turn the momentum around. And I think we'll see quite a difference in the Baltimore Colts if they can score.
The pitch to Dickey. Dickey turns on the speed, and only an arm-saving tackle by number 27, Tom Darden, kept him from going all the way in. A 9-yard pickup. 72 yards on 10 carries now for Curtis Dickey. And Burt Jones staying with a running weapon. This freshman from Texas A&M.
Well, Burt Jones has got to change up the game a little bit. Curtis Dickey is the threat, able to take the ball all the way. He takes a wide run here and get it inside the linebacker, and he just kept from going into the score. And we're going to see probably some more of that, because Burt Jones is not going to throw the ball. I think the passing game is going to be cut down here a little bit.
See, we shorted Curtis 2 yards. He's got 71. Joe Washington now in the backfield. Cleveland Franklin going for the first down on a 2nd down and 2. He'll be closer. He may have it. Clay Matthews, 57, stacked up to play. And he got some help from Lyle Alzado, number 77. Okay, we've got a final score. The Bears have beaten the Washington Redskins by a score of 35-21. Walter Payton had a 51-yard touchdown run in that game. On the 3, let's see where they mark the ball, and it's a little bit difficult now as Burt Jones comes to the sideline. Let's see, I believe it's going to be at the 5. They're going to bring the sticks in to take a look and see if they got that first down. They had 2 yards to go. Any part of the ball will do it. Ooh. Come on. That's pretty close. 1 inch for the first down. And the Colt offensive unit, Marvin Sims, 39, a 6'4", 237-pound fullback, a rookie out of Clemson, is on. It's 3rd down, and you saw Cal Lepore say 1 inch to go for the first down. The crowd will tell you if the Colts make it or not. Dickey, a touchdown. Curtis Dickey. Dick Ambrose had a shot at him, a 5-yard touchdown run for Curtis Dickey, and the Baltimore Colts. Fans come to life here in Baltimore as the Colts have made it 21-12, but they've got the 12. So Burt Jones directs the drive that takes Baltimore into the Cleveland end zone, and the Colts are back in business.
Well, they certainly are back in business. Burt Jones, this was a great drive. Starting on the own 16, ended up with this run by Curtis Dickey, who takes it in on the wide running play, get inside the linebacker again, and he just shows his speed by being able to outflank the defensive end, and also his speed to cut it up the field.
And the kick is good by Mickemeyer. So we've got 3 minutes, 17 seconds left to play here in the 3rd quarter in Baltimore. It's the Browns 21, Baltimore 13.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Trouble spots like these are what separate Gillette Atra from all ordinary razors. The reason? The Atra pivot. It keeps the blades at a perfect shaving angle, giving you a better shave than any razor that can't pivot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many more reasons do you need? Gillette Atra, the pivot makes it better.
Gillette, when it comes to shaving, we give you the edge.
Hi, honey.
Hey, where are the kids?
Spending the night at Mother's.
We're alone?
Open up and taste the moment. This time, the best is just what you deserve.
It's time for Erlanger. One look, one sip, one taste will tell you this beer is a classic.
When you want to fill your life up to the very brim.
Here's to my mother-in-law.
Come and taste the moment, Erlanger.
Later today.
Today, NFL action continues with exciting regional matchups featuring Denver's Orange Crush versus San Diego's Flying Circus, the Dolphins against Vince Ferragamo and the Rams, and the Chiefs square off against the Seahawks. Check local listings for the game in your area.
Curtis Dickey scoring the touchdown for Baltimore, and Burt Jones with the jacket on, directing the drive, using the run, mixing his plays well as Mickemeyer kicks off, and Dino Hall will bring it back for the Cleveland Browns. Hall trying to go to the outside. Look at this little guy turn it on. And a tremendous return by Dino as he is knocked out of bounds out across the 40-yard line, and they'll mark it out around the 42. Nesby Glasgow got him out of bounds after a 36-yard return.
You see, he starts up the field, but then he breaks it completely to the outside, going the other direction, using his speed to get outside. And it's a wonder that he really didn't get away. I think the kicker, Steve Mickemeyer, was over there to make the tackle.
Big score for the Cleveland Browns. Pittsburgh defeated Tampa Bay today 24-21. Our colleagues Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen saw a good one. The Browns play the Steelers next week. And of course, many of you will see that game on NBC. Dino Hall, an exciting player at 5'7". Mike Pruitt and Greg Pruitt in the backfield for the Browns. First down to the 41. Sight not wasting any time. Ozzie Newsome out there. But it is incomplete as Larry Brazil was out of bounds when he caught that football. Boy, you got to admire Brian Sipe and Sam Ratigliano. If you like offense and the Browns live with the offense, they control the ball with a pass. Here they go, and right up into the air on the first play after that Baltimore touchdown.
Well, they can't sit in their lead here, Merle. Baltimore Colts are starting to make a move here, as indicated by this interception. But what happens, the ball starts to hang a little bit more. The air is heavier, it's wet, it's been raining. It gives the defensive back to get a chance to come over, get in front of the receiver, and catch that ball.
All right, the Baltimore defense has been tested all day. They've been controlled pretty well in the pits by that offensive line of Cleveland. Let's see what happens now. 2nd and 10. And the draw going to Mike Pruitt. Pruitt breaks right through the middle across the midfield stripe. He's down about the 47-yard line for a 12-yard gain. And Mike Woods, the linebacker, number 59, comes up to make the tackle. Sanders Shiver, 54, to help out. And Carl, again, much credit's got to go to that offensive line of Cleveland. They come right back to the running play. Up front, you've got Jackson and De Leon and DeLamalure doing a tremendous job of opening holes up in the middle.
Well, they got tremendous guys back there. They know to carry that ball. When you got a guy in the backfield like Mike Pruitt, you want to do everything you can for him. Also with Brian Sipe, you want to protect Brian Sipe there, keep the rushes off him, and you know those are the guys who are going to win for you.
Mike Pruitt again, getting what he can, and what he gets is about 4. Herb Orvis, 88, the right tackle. Ed Simonini, 56, the middle linebacker, on the stop on Mike Pruitt. You know, when Pruitt first came into the league with the Browns, they talked about Pruitt having, well, fumbleitis. Now that's a tag that a lot of Browns are going to resent. And yet Mike Pruitt, and to his credit, did hand exercises with a rubber ball to strengthen his hands, strengthen the forearms, get a hold of that football and hold on to it. And he has done quite a job this year. 2nd down, 6. Little play action. That's Greg Pruitt. Pruitt going for the yard marker, but he didn't quite make it. Chased out of bounds by Barry Krause, 55. Now playing the outside linebacker spot, the second-year man from Alabama. Krause had started 4 ball games when Mike Woods, the regular, was hurt, and did quite well. The gain of 9 by Greg Pruitt, 3rd down 1. Cleo Miller, number 30, is now in the backfield at fullback for Cleveland. Willis Adams, number 80, is coming as a wide receiver. Short. 2 big backs in there. Mike Pruitt on the cut. First down. He keeps going. He's down near the 30-yard line. And Mike Ozdowski, number 71, has to make the tackle. And I believe that takes Mike over the 100-yard mark in rushing today. That was his 16th carry. And he has 101 yards.
Well, you talk about Mike Pruitt and working on his hands. He's also improved on his pass catching. We haven't seen him catch a ball today, but he's turned into a good pass receiver also, Merle.
That's what's called it working at his trade. 3 100-yard rushing days now for Mike Pruitt this season. Sipe going for all of it. He's got a man. That's Rucker, but he overshoots it. It's out of bounds anyway, out of the end zone. Derek Hatchett, number 42, had the coverage. Sipe is a little angry at himself. He's, hey, what I do wrong?
He hasn't done very much wrong today.
He certainly hasn't. The Browns are leading by a score of 21-13. 40 seconds left to go in the third quarter. The Browns have led all the way, scoring twice in the first period. Charles White, a 5-yard touchdown run. Dave Logan, a 39-yard pass reception. Burt Jones came back to hit Reese McCall with a 23-yard bomb to make it 14-6. Charles White scored again before the half, 21-6 at halftime. And Dickey, a 5-yard run by Baltimore in this quarter, took 21-13. Sipe with some time, throws over the middle, completes that pass at about the 26-yard line. Mike Woods, a linebacker, on Mike Pruitt, and there's his pass reception for the afternoon.
I'll tell you, Merle, the pressure now is on the defense of the Baltimore Colts, and it really is on the defensive line. They've got to get the pressure on Brian Sipe so that he can't have the time to complete even the short ones. They're exercising ball control here, moving the ball down the field, eating up the clock. Burt Jones needs the ball back. The Colts have to get the ball back. We need a big play here, a turnover, or something like that. And I'm sure that's what they're talking about. And we'll see what they do here as they go into the fourth quarter.
And so that reception by Pruitt of 5 yards will make a 3rd down and 5 coming up for Cleveland when they take over in the fourth quarter. And we'll be right back after this message from your local station.
The perfect conspiracy until 2 investigative reporters blow the cover on all the president's men.
Don't you understand what you're on to? Mitchell knew? Of course, Mitchell knew.
Robert Redford, Dustin Hoffman in the Academy Award-winning box office smash, the real-life detective thriller on television for the first time, Sunday.
Save money working on your car?
Yep.
Get your parts at Car Parts?
One place as good as another.
No, Benny's Car Parts Outlet gives you a car life warranty on most tough quality parts for as long as you own your car.
That could be quite a while.
Low prices, too. Like mufflers as low as $17.77. Water pumps as low as $9.88. When you buy it from Benny, you buy it for good.
Car, with Benny's help, you and I are going to be friends for a long time.
It's a lonely kind of job, riding fences, but it's a job that's got to be done. So you get it done right. And then you head for the mountains. Head for the beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream. Brewed the natural way, so it's always as smooth as its name. Busch. Head for Busch beer. Head for the mountains. Head for...
Thanks for giving your fair share.
Mike McCormick's Baltimore Colts won the first game, lost the next 2. Won 3, lost 2. Won last week. They've been in and out. The Browns started with 2 losses, won a couple, lost another one, and now have won 4 in a row and are trying to make it 5 in a row and stay even with the Houston Oilers in the AFC Central as we open the fourth quarter. And the Browns have a 21-13 lead. It is 3rd down, 5 in the 25. Sipe dumps it off to Greg Pruitt. Pruitt's got the first down. And more to spare. Sander Shiver, 54, the linebacker, and Bruce Laird, the strong safety, number 40, make the tackle. A gain of 11 yards, plenty for the first down. Now we just have to find where the ball is going to be spotted. There are no yard markers left. How about this? The New York Giants, with 10 seconds left to play, have a 3-point lead over the Dallas Cowboys, who had come from way back. But Joe Danilo just kicked a 27-yard field goal with 1 minute 7 seconds left to put the Giants into a 3-point lead over the Dallas Cowboys. Charles White is in there. First down on the 14-yard line. That's where the ball is spotted. Rucker in motion to the left. This is Charles White, dumped after getting a couple of yards. Derek Hatchett, the left cornerback, came up and made a submarine-type tackle. And coming up hobbling a bit is Herb Orvis, number 88. So Brian Sipe, who has guided the Browns to a ball control type game this afternoon. He has controlled the game in the air and then on the ground too. He has mixed his plays very, very well. 21 out of 28 in the air. Second down, 8 on the 12. Sipe, 20 out of 27, 189 yards. Greg Pruitt heads for the corner. He's inside the flag, a touchdown. Greg Pruitt scoring for the Cleveland Browns. Before we can play more than a minute and a half here in the fourth quarter, a 12-yard touchdown pass to Greg Pruitt. And the Browns move up by a score of 27-13. So Sipe has hit 2 touchdown passes today. Charles White has scored a couple on the runs.
You talk about ball control. This is some of the reasons why. He's able to throw the ball off to his running back, Greg Pruitt here, who just walks down the line, does a little tap dancing here, takes it in the end zone, scores, and Cleveland's up by another touchdown.
Now the extra point try by Cockcroft. And Don is right through the middle of the uprights. So Don came into the game. He'd only missed 4 all year. And now Cleveland has moved up front by 28-13. And we've got 13 minutes, 22 seconds left of the game.
Ram Tough Dodge pickup. New design for 1981. Built tougher than ever. With better mileage, new impact grille, square-shouldered, brawny stance, galvanized steel in critical areas, twice as much as last year. More than Ford or Chevy. New EPA estimates. Best gasoline mileage with automatic transmission. More than Ford or Chevy. New Dodge pickups go beyond tough.
Dodge trucks are Ram Tough.
Outward bound, Rota, Spain. The Navy. See your local recruiter or call toll-free. It's not just a job, it's an adventure.
The Browns now lead the Colts by a score of 28-13. Answering quickly the challenge offered by the Baltimore Colts in the third quarter as Dickey scored to make it 21-13. And now the Browns have come right back to lead by 2. 59 yards, 10 plays, 12-yard touchdown pass to Greg Pruitt. Ryan Sipe has no favorites there. He uses everybody in his receiving pattern as Cockcroft kicks it off high and the ball's not going anywhere. It is fielded way up short by number 26, Kim Anderson. And Anderson is brought down in a hurry as Cockcroft, he said, hey, I don't know what happened there, Coach, but something happened.
Well, they can tell they didn't get that much of a return.
NBC
Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. Now we're talking about, as we look at the Baltimore offensive huddle, talking about Sipe. He's used over the year, Newsom, Pruitt, Logan, Rucker, Hill, Pruitt, White, everybody. Now, Burt Jones. He's a quarterback that uses everybody also. First down to the 29-yard line of Baltimore. Jones with some time, and he hits Butler, Ray Butler, at the 45-yard line. Bill Cower, 53, the second-year linebacker from North Carolina State, makes the tackle after a 16-yard pickup. Ray Butler on the receiving end. Clock ticking away, 12 minutes, 50 seconds left to go in the game. A lot of time, though. It is a 28-13, 15-point lead for the Cleveland Browns, so Baltimore needs 3 scores to pull this one out. Jones, here comes the safety man, and incomplete. Roger Carr, the intended receiver, and Clarence Scott, the safety, was coming from the opposite side after him. But fortunately for Jones, he was on a roll to the left. And Scott had to chase him all the way across the field.
Yes, he did. He was lucky. If he'd gone the other way, I think Scott would have had him.
Clock is stopped, 12.5 minutes to go. Coming up next will be Cincinnati and Oakland. Those Bengals can really be tough. The Oakland Raiders have been, well, they've been a turnaround team this year. Jim Plunkett has brought that ball club a long way since Pastorini has been hurt. They're right up there with the San Diego Chargers in the West. Curtis Dickey. A little bit more. Gets across the midfield stripe to the 48-yard line of the Browns. He's short of a first down by about 3. Darden, 27, the free safety, and Ray Bolton, the strong cornerback, making the tackle, and Lyle Alzado getting a piece of him. It's now 3rd down at the 49-yard line where they placed the ball.
Curtis Dickey, he's got the speed. He's a sprinter, but you don't see this type of running by a normal sprinter coming into the professional football league. Here he breaks and just keeps his legs moving. His drive gets some extra yards there. That's the type of effort they need now if Baltimore's going to stay in this game and be able to overcome this Cleveland Brown lead.
3rd down 4 for the Baltimore Colts. Incomplete, a bit underthrown. Don McCauley coming out of the backfield, covered by Clay Matthews, number 57. It'll be 4th down and 4 for the Baltimore Colts. And the punting unit is coming on as Burt Jones comes to the sideline and Mike Bragg and his pals take over. 35.8 average for 5 punts today. Dino Hall is going back deep for the Cleveland Browns as Bragg, who was cut for the Washington Redskins, has done a good job. He's ready to punt it away now to Dino.
Have to watch out for that Dino Hall. He's got great speed there.
Bragg kicking it away from him to the sideline and kicks it out of bounds inside the 15 at about the 18-yard line. So Bragg has been tough inside the 20 this year. 11:30 to go with a timeout in Baltimore, and it's a 28-13 Cleveland lead. We'll be right back.
All over America, do-it-yourselfers are becoming Stanley super doers. They're doing bigger things, and they're doing them better and better. They depend on Stanley tools for measuring things right, for shaping things right, for making joints fit right. Tools that work right are made by Stanley, the do-it-yourself company.
Stanley, we want to help you do things right.
For a super deal on the NFL thermos jug and mugs, look for specially tagged Stanley tools.
I used to run through airports. Now I fly through them. With new Hertz #1 Express service, I fly non-stop from my plane to my car without stopping at the counter. If you ask for #1 Express when you make your reservation, your Ford or other fine car and contract will be waiting at the #1 Express booth. Once again, Hertz puts you in the driver's seat faster than anybody else.
I'll tell you, there's more to punting that meets the eye, but not the camera's eye. As you can see, Chris Foots here lines up the punter. He's trying to get him in line so he can get a direct snap there. And Mike Bragg gets a good kick inside the 20. And Cleveland has the ball now on their own about 16-yard line, or 13-yard line.
Bragg's kick of 36 yards puts Cleveland in a bit of a hole. Let's see if the Baltimore defense can come up with a big play as Brian Sipe, who has been in control all day, sends Charles White into the tailback spot of the eye, and this is White. White at the 20, and is dropped there by 71 Mike Ozdowski, the defensive right end, along with Derek Hatchett, number 42. So the gain about 7, 2nd down 3. Cleo Miller, number 30, is now in the ball game. Charles White has carried 12 times for 60 yards today, the former Heisman Trophy winner from USC. Miller and White in the backfield. Charles White on the sweep, makes his cut. And the former Trojan is out across the 30 to around the 32 for a first down. Herb Orvis, number 88, making the tackle on Charles White, who is 5'10", 183 pounds. There were some who questioned whether he was really big enough to play this game in the NFL. He gained 11. I don't think there's any doubt about Charles White being able to play here.
Well, no doubt at all. But I'll tell you, he's following the tradition of such other great Heisman Trophy winners. O.J. Simpson and these guys, they build up a tradition, Merle, and they take pride in being a Heisman Trophy winner. And he's certainly going to establish himself. His credentials certainly speak for themselves, and he's showing himself today.
De Leon over the ball. Sipe makes the call. Cleo Miller breaking a tackle, busting his way out to the 40, to the 41, near a first down. Mike Woods, 59, and Reggie Pinckney, who's down as a strong safety, number 37, make the tackle. Here's the final. The Giants did it on a Joe Donato field goal of 27 yards with 1:07 left to play. The Giants, 1-8, pull a mighty, mighty upset over the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, Simonini, you see him fights off the block here. Works real hard. The footing was set is a little bad. He slips a little bit there and is able to it misses a tackle. And you can't help that when you got bad footing. You work hard. What are you going to do?
The Browns missed the first down by less than a yard. We have 9 minutes and 50 seconds to play here in Baltimore. The Browns have led all the way. Sam Rutigliano's crew going for its 7th win of the year, and if they get it, they'll be right where they were a year ago after 10 games, 7-3. Greg Pruitt, number 34, is coming to the backfield now. Reggie Rucker breaking out as a wide receiver right. Ozzie Newsome, 82, will be the tight end set right. Dave Logan splits out to the left. Miller and Greg Pruitt in the eye. Newsome move. Flag goes down. Miller's going to lose this big gainer, but let's see who gets the football. The play is still alive, and the Baltimore Colts no doubt will take the football. The penalty would have been on the Cleveland Browns as Newsome moved too soon. Cleo Miller had a big, big gainer of more than 20 yards. Hatchett falls on the football, and if that's the way the play stands, and it will, the penalty is declined by the Baltimore Colts. Newsome had made his move.
Okay, I'll tell you what happens. You'd think that might be a pass play, but what happens, he probably had to get a block on the middle linebacker and get across the field, so he's attempting to get an early start, and I'm sure that's what caused him to jump.
Now let's pause as we are going to have a timeout here with 9 minutes and 14 seconds left to play. Cleveland leading 28-13. We'll be right back.
You know, I love the fresh, clean smell of barley because I can almost taste the Schlitz beer I'm going to make from it. I'm Frank Sellinger. Recently, I came to Schlitz as chief executive. Mostly, I check on the business end. But after 40 years as a master brewer, I check the barley, too, and the other fine grains to make a really smooth beer. Taste my Schlitz.
This 6-hour VHS home video recorder is called RegiVision.
Oh, that's Panasonic Omnivision.
And RegiVision has RegiFlex.
That's Omniflex, Reggie. It plays in slow motion, high speed, or freeze-frame.
RegiVision also has RegiSearch.
That's OmniSearch. It makes it easy to find the scene you want.
So get RegiVision with RegiFlex and RegiSearch.
That's Omnivision with OmniFlex and OmniSearch.
From Panasonic.
Right.
She was a champion skater. Then she went blind. But a special person wouldn't let her dream die.
Can't you do it without the TV cameras?
Ice Castles, Monday.
Bob Costas and Gene Washington are standing by in Oakland to bring you the Cincinnati-Oakland game, which will follow this one. And Cincinnati leading Oakland 3-0 in the first period. We'll be switching to the coast right after this game is over. First down to the 31. 10 yards to go for the Baltimore Colts. Burt Jones throws the screen. Curtis Dickey at the 40. And Curtis brought down at about the 42. Clay Matthews, 57, made the tackle after a 13-yard pickup by Curtis Dickey, and it's a first down.
All right, now you'll see a team do this especially when they think they got the defensive line putting on a good rush. Let them throw the ball off to Curtis Dickey, who's got the ability to break the ball and to go for a touchdown open field.
The Colts with 8:35 left to go. That's what Jones has done today. 192 yards in the air. Look out, Alzado almost had him screened to the other side. Cleveland Franklin, the fullback, trying to bust loose at the 45, but he is knocked down to the 46-yard line. So Jones screening left, screening right. Bill Cowher, 53, and Charlie Hall, 59. The linebackers made the tackle.
Well, you're going to see them mix it up a lot here, Merle, because they're behind. The Browns know they got to throw, and they're going to put on the rush. So that's what I say. They're letting the linemen through, throwing those screen passes, and they got good receivers once they get out there and they can break the ball. Break it for a long gain.
Colts are catching up with the first downs, but not on the scoreboard. After a gain of 4, second down 6. Curtis Dickey after a 1-yard gain, possibly 2. Clarence Hall, 59, brought him down. Cleveland ahead by 28-13. And it's a 3rd down coming up for the Baltimore Colts, and 5 yards to go, and 5 defensive backs are on the field as Mike McCormick, the head coach of the Colts, knowing now that he has got to beat that clock. Paul McDonald doing a little throwing on the sideline, the Cleveland backup quarterback out of USC. 3rd down, 5. And let's see what the Cleveland Browns do on this. They're bringing everybody. Indeed they are, but Jones gets it away, incomplete. Intended for Joe Washington coming out of the backfield. The Browns sent everybody but their bus driver.
Yes, they did. It was a blitz. That ball could have been a little bit. Normally they keep a dry ball. I don't think that ball was well thrown. He didn't have a lot of time, but the receiver was open, and Burt Jones does not get a good throw there. He's arguing at the official. He's probably telling them right now about keeping the ball dry.
So it's 4th down for the Baltimore Colts. 4th down and 5. Ball is resting on the 47-yard line. Mike Bragg has kicked 6 times today. Dino Hall is deep for the Browns. Mike Bragg kicked one out inside the 20 on his last punt. Drives this one down field, and Dino Hall calling for the fair catch, taking it at the 19-yard line of the Browns, and that's where Brian Sipe, at his offensive unit, will take over. A 33-yard punt, no return, 6:52 to go in the game, and the Browns lead it 28-13.
Just in time for Christmas. Save $10 each on 2 favorite Radio Shack electronic games. 2-player football or 2-player baseball. Both cut to $29.95 each. Computerized action games with separate controls for each player. Lighted scoreboard with built-in sound. Challenge a friend or play against the computer. Pitch a no-hitter. Score a touchdown. Be a winner and pocket the savings. Sale price 2-player electronic games. Only at Radio Shack, your Christmas electronic store.
America's not going to be pushed around anymore.
Dodge announces an historic breakthrough. The new Omni Miser with the highest highway mileage any American car has ever achieved. Now there's a real challenge to the imports. Omni Miser with its advanced electronic fuel control. Miser squeezes out more mileage than Toyota Corona, more than Honda Accord, more than VW Rabbit, more than the World Car 4-door Ford Escort, and at a lower price, only $52.99. Omni Miser is your Dodge Ram dealer, the American way to beat the pump.
On NBC Sports World Invitational Track and Field from China, the intensity and incredible strength of women's powerlifting, and the legends of bowling, next Saturday.
The Cleveland Browns over the Baltimore Colts by 28-13. There's the time remaining. I'm Merle Harmon with Carl Eller, and the Baltimore Colts have never led in this ballgame. Cleveland took the opening kickoff, marched for a touchdown, then scored another, led at the quarter 14-0. At the half, 21-6. They lead now 28-13. Brian Sipe going to Charles White, and White might have been hit behind the line. Mike Ozdowski, 71, and Fred Cook, 72. The defensive ends came in to make the hit.
Well, Charles White's got the great speed there, but I think the Colts, I think they know they have to come up with a big play here. I think Charles White was probably angry at the fact that the hole wasn't there, and he tried to take another direction or run to daylight, as they say, and there was just nowhere to go.
He lost a yard. It'll be 2nd and 11. 48,304 tickets sold, 2,935 no-shows today in Baltimore. Uh-oh, something went wrong there. Both running backs were looking for the handoff. Mike Pruitt got it. And Mike Woods made the tackle. I believe Mike Pruitt picked up the yard they lost on the previous play, and Brian Sipe is informing his backs as to which one was to take it.
Well, I see Simonini there, getting in there, but they're plugging the hole. They can't let the Browns get a first down here because the Colts need the ball back. And I'm sure that the defensive line is aware of this. They're trying to put on the pressure, and they're going to stop these guys.
3rd down 10. Logan wide to the left, Rucker to the right for the Browns, who have led all the way today. The blitz, safety blitz by Bruce Laird, and he makes the tackle, and that is the 2nd time that Sipe has gone down today, and they will mark the ball around the 10-yard line. Bruce Laird coming from the strong safety spot. Watch him.
This is just what we're talking about. You can't rely on your offense to do everything. The defense has to come up with a big play. This is certainly a big play, and Bruce Laird's the one that makes it.
A 9-yard loss. It is 4th down 19, and the Browns need a big punt out of the end zone from Johnny Evans. Kim Anderson back in a single safety for Baltimore.
I think they'll try for a blocker. Come up with another big play.
Ball is kicked high, but not far. And the Baltimore Colts are going to wind up with great field position on the 38-yard line. So Johnny Evans got only 29 yards on that punt. And the Colts will take over. 5:04 left to play, and they trail by 15.
Introducing the revolutionary twin action shaving system engineered to outperform twin blades. The new Norelco Rotatract razor. Inside 3 floating heads, Rotatract works like twin blades to grip hair. Raise it up, then razor it off, hundreds of times a second, for a shave that's twin blade close without a nick or cut. The new twin action Norelco Rotatract razor, cord and rechargeable. Twin blade closeness, but no gotcha.
I told my Allstate agent I can't afford life insurance. Well, John, don't put marbles in the penny wrappers. He told us about one of Allstate's affordable life plans. For a 28-year-old, $50,000 of decreasing term insurance for about $11 a month. These pennies could pay for a couple of months. Well, John.
Well, you put your pennies in my marble jar.
Ask about Allstate Life's affordable life plans. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Mike McCormick, in his first year as the head coach of the Baltimore Colts, has seen his team as an in-and-out team this year. They were 5-4 for the year going into this game, trailing New England by 2 and Buffalo by 1. Burt Jones, first down, 10 on the 38. Draw. And it is Cleveland Franklin popping his way for about 6, brought down by Lyle Alzado, number 77. It'll be 2nd down 4, and Carl, Baltimore doesn't have that kind of time on the clock for a running game.
Well, they're trying to mix it up a little bit still here, Merle. They know that the Cleveland Browns are going to rush the passer because they are so far behind. A draw play is a good call here, although it does eat up the clock.
2nd down 4 on the 32. Jones zips the ball, but underthrows it to Joe Washington. Jones is now 16 out of 28 for 195 yards. His counterpart, Brian Sipe, 22 of 29, 212 yards. Sipe now has 19 touchdown passes for the year, having thrown for a pair today. Mike Pruitt has rushed for 104 yards to lead the Browns. Mickemeyer staying loose. They can't afford to miss anything, not even an extra point. If Baltimore can take it in. 3rd down, 4. He really drills the receiver this time as Burt Jones hits Don McCauley for a first down, and Clay Matthews is right there to cover McCauley. Clay Matthews from USC, kind of a Jack Ham type linebacker, but I don't think Clay Matthews particularly likes that tag. He said, hey, I'm a Clay Matthews type
linebacker. He's a Clay Matthews, and that's for sure. He's an outstanding linebacker. They're missing one linebacker out there, and that's R.L. Jackson. But you talk about linebackers, Cleveland Browns certainly have a fine core of them.
Burt Jones on a first down. Now being pursued, runs right into Alzado. And that's the 5th time the Browns have sacked Burt Jones this afternoon.
That's what you call out of the frying pan into the fire.
So the loss takes that ball back to the 38-yard line.
What you see is that Burt Jones sees the pressure coming from the other side. Lyle Alzado is coming from the other side, from his right defensive end spot. And he's right there as Burt Jones makes his cut and he gets another sack. And they have sacked Burt Jones 5 times today.
And 2 weeks ago, Jones was sacked 12 times. That's Alzado. Jones drilling it. There is Butler. Butler at the 15, trying to break tackles and gets back to the 15-yard line. And that should be good for a first down. Tom Darden, number 27, makes the tackle, a 22-yard pickup and a first down for the Colts. 3 minutes left to play in this game. The ball of the 15 of the Cleveland Browns.
Well, what you have here is you see, and Archie Beeman is into the game now at strong safety, an old teammate of mine back in Seattle. He's a good strong safety. But we got Jones throwing the ball well, and he's got to get some points on the board.
Burt right over the middle to Reese McCall. Just stood up and threw it over a little slant down to the 7-yard line. Tom Darden, 27, there on the tackle. A gain of about 6, possibly 7, depending on where they mark the ball. It'll be a gain of 7 yards. It'll be second down and 3.
Second and 2.
Time remaining, 2 minutes, 20 seconds. The Colts trail 28-13. Jones swings it out to Cleveland Franklin, and Franklin goes nowhere.
Pass complete to Sims.
Or make that Marvin Sims, I beg your pardon, number 39. Ron Bolton, 28, had the tackle on Marvin Sims. It is third down, 2. And we have 2 minutes and 7 seconds left in the ball game. Sam Rotigliano on the sideline, I'm sure rather confident that his team can hold this big lead. We've got a timeout, and Cleveland's lead is 28-13, and we'll return in a moment.
Open up and taste the moment. This time the best is just what you deserve. When you want to fill your life up to the very brim, come and taste the moment. Erlanger.
One look, one sip, one taste will tell you this beer is a classic.
It's raining, Ollie.
I can see that.
The wipers sure are making a mess.
Well, why don't you do something to help me? Oh!
Once a year, it makes sense to get yourself a new set of Anco wiper blades. It's simple, quick, and an inexpensive way to see your way clear again.
But that's much better, Ollie.
Why, thank you, Stanley.
Cleveland Franklin is getting a tape job on the right foot, but it's over the shoe, so I presume he's okay.
Oh, he's okay. He's probably getting a little bit of extra support there. And then the ground makes it a little tough to cut and all that stuff. So you want to keep those ankles real firm.
3rd and 2 for a first down. 3rd and 7 for a touchdown. Jones for 231 yards today. McCall and Alston are in at tight end. Curtis Dickey, he's inside the 5. A first down and goal coming up as Don Good, number 50, makes the tackle. He's in at a linebacker spot. The ball near the 3-yard line. It is first down and goal with 2 minutes to go in the game. And we've got the timeout for the 2-minute warning. So the Cleveland Browns leading by a comfortable 15 points. All they got to do now is just hold on to that 15-point lead, and that should be easy for them to do. We'll be right back.
America's not going to be pushed around anymore.
New front-wheel drive Dodge Aries K challenges BMW to a test of handling on a slippery track covered with oil and water. BMW says it's the ultimate driving machine, but in 14 out of 16 tries, it spins out. Aries, same speed, same test driver, outhandles BMW every time. Aries, America's highest mileage 6-passenger car. At your Dodge Ram dealer, the American way to beat the pump.
Aries coupe prices start at $58.80.
Some folks just can't figure out Campbell's chunky sirloin burger. On the one hand, it's soup, so the feller can eat it with a spoon. On the other hand, it's got all these tasty little burgers made of real sirloin that a feller can eat with a fork. So is it a soup or is it a meal? Heck, that's easy. Chunky's the soup that eats like a meal.
Chunky sirloin burger with real sirloin. It's the soup that eats like a meal.
2 minutes to play. Cleveland leading 28-13. Mentioned a moment ago, all they got to do now is hold the lead. It takes 3 scores for Baltimore to win this game. McCauley, 23. Washington, 20 of the setbacks. First and goal. And that's McCauley, dragged down on the 2 by Dick Ambrose. Number 52, the linebacker from Virginia. It'll be second down and goal to go. Clock running with 1:46 left. The Cleveland Browns will go 7-3 for the year. They'll pick up a half game on the Houston Oilers, who are idle today, but will play tomorrow. And of course, now the pressure will be applied to Houston. Second and goal. Jones has got a man in the end zone. Reese McCall. So the big guy from Auburn gets the touchdown, but in this case, a little too late.
Well, Merle, I'll tell you, they still have time here. They're 2 scores behind still, but that third score could be a second score in this case. Now they've just scored, could be a field goal. Reese McCall, this is his second touchdown for the day. And I'll tell you, he was just wide open there, but they're still not in the game here. If Burt Jones, if the defense can come back before Burt Jones gets another chance, if they can get the ball, Burt Jones may have an opportunity to come back and put them on the board again. And if they have an onside kick or something like that, they could possibly win this game.
Mickemeyer for the extra point. It's right through there. And if they do that, we're going to have the most exciting finish of all time. And who knows? I did the Heidi game way back when, so I remember that baby.
Well, it's going to be an exciting game here, I think, because I'm certain that the Baltimore Colts are not willing to give up. That Burt Jones is a real competitor, and they want to win this game. They don't want to fall another one behind in their division.
And so it's an 8-point lead for the Cleveland Browns. And I think everybody in this ballpark that's left, some 48,000, were here to start the game, and probably half that now here, as the rain in the second half drove a lot of the Baltimore Colt fans to drier places. But the Cleveland Browns have an 8-point lead. They've got to work 1:27 off that clock. And coming up next, Cincinnati against Oakland. And Mark Van Egan has just scored on a 2-yard run for the Oakland Raiders to put the Raiders ahead 7-3 with 12 minutes and 21 seconds left to play in the half. So we'll be going right to Oakland when this game is over, and you'll see the conclusion of that game, which should be a dandy. All right, it'll be Mickemeyer to kick off. Dino Hall will be deep for the Cleveland Browns. But everybody's looking for the onside kick, and there it is. Can they cover it?
They may have the ball. No, they don't.
Cleveland recovers it. So the Browns.
But just to emphasize what I was saying a moment ago, Merle, had they been successful there, they could have gotten a quick score. Burt Jones scored his first touchdown in 3 plays, which only took less than a minute. And the field goal certainly within range. But now Cleveland has the ball, and all they have to do now is just to hold on to it.
Timeout, Cleveland. And it was Judson Flint, who just joined the Browns, just was activated, who fell on the football. The executive producer of NBC's NFL Football is Don Ohlmeyer. Coordinating producer, Ted Nathanson. The telecast of today's game has been produced by Peter Rolfe and directed by Lenny Stucker. Technical director, Horace Ruiz. And associate director, Sam Kirschman. And Flint is up and at him after recovering that onside kick. Apparently had the wind knocked out of him.
Yeah, those onside kicks are dangerous plays. Everybody's going after the ball.
Well, your old team really rolled today, Carl. The Minnesota Vikings swamping Detroit. And the Colts will play the Lions next week. Billy Sims was shut out today so far.
Well, that was a big win for them. They're now going to tie for the division. Detroit's had a great season so far. But they come in there, and they tied for the league. New quarterback's coming in the game now for the Cleveland Browns.
Paul McDonald, the former USC star, along with Charles White, who's his tailback right now. The ball in the 45-yard line. And Charles White breaking for 5 for 7. It'll be second down 3. The tackle made by Mike Ozdowski, number 71 for the Baltimore Colts. Boy, Billy Sims, what a start, but shut out today. 34-0, Minnesota over the Detroit Lions.
Well, the Vikings are coming off 2 big wins. One against Washington last week, and certainly this is the big one today.
Next Sunday, start your day off with NFL 80. Host Bryant Gumbel will bring you all the latest news, scores, and highlights and more. Then it's exciting doubleheader action as the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Cleveland Browns and the San Diego Chargers battle the Kansas City Chiefs, plus other regional games. That's all next Sunday here on NBC Sports. Check your listings for the games and the time in your area.
That's going to be a big game for Cleveland next week if they come out here to win today, which it seems like they're going to do with a minute 21 left. They can just about put Pittsburgh away next week. They'll be up a game and a half, certainly over them. And boy, that'll be some exciting things in Cleveland going on.
Paul McDonald is happy for two reasons. One, the Browns lead. Two, he's in the game. The rookie from USC, 4th round draft choice. Pruitt are in the backfield. And Pruitt takes the handoff, bobbles the ball, and the Colts, I believe, picked it off in midair at the 40-yard line. Reggie Pinckney, 37, went after that ball, and he is the man who recovered it.
You notice that I covered myself there, which says it looks like they're going to win. They're pretty safe, but you never know what's going to happen in a football game. I'll tell you, anything can happen. This is a big play for them. The game, you have to keep your spirits alive. I mean, you have to believe that you can win right down to the final gun. They come up with a big play here, and it may be too little too late, but certainly they're feeling good to be able to get another turnover here.
Hey, you're about to make a believer out of me, Carl.
I am trying to.
It's
Merle.
never over till it's over, huh?
Well, I haven't been in this broadcasting business too long, and I certainly have the feelings of the ball players there. When you're on the losing side, you don't want to look at even a minute 21 to go yet as being a loser.
And you've been there, so you know.
Yes, I do.
First down, 10, Jones. And he completes it to Joe Washington. Washington at midfield, down to the 45, down to the 40-yard line of the Cleveland Browns. With a minute and 2 seconds left to play. Baltimore is still with a timeout. And Harris makes the tackle. They will not take the timeout here. Jones right back in the air again. Completes it to Joe Washington on the 35. Now will they take it? 48 seconds left to play in this game.
They need it now.
And apparently they do take the timeout. Dick Ambrose made the tackle. 48 seconds remaining as the Baltimore Colts take the timeout. They've got the football at the 35-yard line. They trail by 8 points. Carl, quickly, do you remember a game that you played in with Minnesota? Well, they were all big when you were playing because the Vikings had that kind of team, where you did pull one out of the fire in a situation like
that? Oh, we've done it many times. In fact, that was one of the strong points of Bud Grant. He never panicked. You know him as a cool coach. But we've won games on kickoffs like an onside kick, getting the ball back, a fumble recover, or sack, or interception. There are a number of things that can happen. These are the type of things that keep a team going. And if you're going to be a championship team, you certainly got to believe in yourselves and being able to pull the game out.
The Colts have taken their last timeout. The Browns have two, but hoping that they don't need those. We have 48 seconds remaining in the game. The Browns have led all the way. They led in the first quarter by 14-0 on a 5-yard touchdown run by Charles White and a 39-yard pass from Brian Sipe to Dave Logan. Then in the second quarter, Burt Jones hit Reese McCall, 23-yard touchdown pass, made it 14-6. Charles White, a 5-yard touchdown run for Cleveland, 21-6 at the half. Now Jones, flagged down. Jones completes it. And it is number 87, Brian DeRue, who makes the catch, and he is down at the 20-yard line. Bill Cowher, 53, Dick Ambrose, 52. The linebackers make the tackle. Let's see what the flag's about.
Okay, the thing here, Merle, is we'll listen when he gets ready to make the call. But the thing is, you don't want to throw that ball over the middle, not with only one timeout, because you need the clock in your favor. And he's got to throw that ball to the outside or throw it in the end zone.
Face mask. And it's against Cleveland. Didn't get the number yet, but we will. In the third quarter, Dickey scored on a 5-yard touchdown run for Baltimore to make it 21-13. Here in the fourth quarter, Greg Pruitt, 12-yard touchdown pass, 28-13. And then Baltimore came back with a touchdown. And Cal, what's the call? Cal Lepore, the referee.
First and 10 of the 13.
Personal foul. Face mask, defense. We tack it on the play. First down.
All right, it was tacked on to the play, but we still don't know who the guilty party was.
No, we don't know who the guilty party was, but this certainly helps them getting a penalty there. Otherwise, they would have not had the clock stopped, and they need that right now, Merle.
The ball on the 15-yard line of the Browns. A moment ago, a 15-point lead seemed to be very comfortable. Jones to the air. Jones drilling it to Roger Carr, his wide receiver on the 5-yard line, and I believe he's inside the 5, and they'll stop the clock, or will they? 26 seconds to go. They will not stop the clock for a measurement. And Jones again throwing. This time, touchdown. And it's Don McCauley out of the backfield with 19 seconds to play. So the Baltimore Colts indeed are putting an exciting finish into this game, with Burt Jones leading the Colts and bringing them back. It's now 28-26 with an extra point try to come.
Well, Merle, I'll tell you, I'm glad I kept you excited about the Baltimore Colts. Burt Jones, I have a lot of confidence in him as a quarterback. And you talk about games being won in the last seconds, and being here in Baltimore, of course, they remember the great years of Johnny Unitas. I've seen him win, and you remember those days, and he's won games, a number of games in the last few seconds.
Mickemeyer for the extra point, and now the Colts trail by 1.
And that can certainly be overcome by a score of 3 points, which can be done by a field goal. I'm sure they're an onside kick here, which everybody will be looking for. But if they come up with it, well, who knows what will happen.
This is a tremendous comeback by the Baltimore Colts. And they trail by 1. And Mickemeyer talking to his head coach, Mike McCormick. We'll pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is WKYC TV3, television home of the Browns.
Merle, Harmon, and Carl Eller with you in Baltimore, and a wild finish as it's turned out to be. Cleveland leading by 1, leading 28-13 going into this quarter. Baltimore has scored twice. Now we go back to the extra point missed by Mickemeyer back in the second quarter. Is turning out to be possibly the key to this ball game.
Well, Mickemeyer's the key right now. He can redeem himself if he gets a good onside kick and they're able to come up with the ball. And he'll come up with a pass or two, of course, to the outside so they can stop the clock. And Burt Jones will try to get the ball in the end zone with a play or two. And Mickemeyer, if they have 1 or 2 completions, will have an opportunity to go for the field goal.
All right, they try to kick it over the front line, and Darden. Oh! Ball! Who's got it? The ball at the 35-yard line. Tom Darden took that little looping kick, and the Browns recover the football on the 35.
Well, I'll tell you, everybody has to be in this ball game. The Baltimore Colts had an opportunity there. You can't doubt that, Merle. And Mickemeyer could have redeemed himself. Here's the ball in about the 35-yard line. Certainly within a completion and a field goal range.
And Autry Beeman comes up with a recovery, and it is a big one.
That could be the biggest play of the game.
35-yard line, Cleveland Browns ball, 18 seconds left to play. And Paul McDonald is going to be the quarterback. No timeouts left. All he has to do is fall on the football. That just about should do it, because there are no timeouts left for the Baltimore Colts. Oh, but did they come close to having opportunity to win this football game on a field goal?